Whether you're a Class 5 rafter or just looking for a couple of laughs, these two have you covered. Welcome to Aaron and Zach's Better Than Mediocre Rafting Show.
What's up, Aaron? How you doing, man?
Great. How are you doing today, Zach?
Doing good. Happy Friday. Happy to be here.
You look a little sleepy there.
I'm pretty tired. I've been working a lot and I drove a lot last night, but I'm gonna have coffee, so this is gonna be a good show. I got some cool stuff planned.
Okay, so when you say working, you were rafting. I'm taking it the last couple weeks.
That's work.
Oh yeah, I've been working so hard. Where did you have to go rafting?
You know, I was in Illinois for the last 2 weeks. But you know, working for me yesterday meant like waking up, clearing some brush on our property, packing some coolers. I don't know, fixing gear, talking to guides, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, let's go. I'm in. We got a great show. I'm super stoked. I have some footage, some like rescue footage from Greenwall from our trip. We have some cool NRS videos to share. But I want to start with talking about. You ready to just jump into this, Aaron?
Yeah, but before we even go to this, I think going on the Illinois, I thought there was no water there. What happened? We've been just having a bunch of cold storms come through.
It's just been dumping rain.
Yeah, it's been kind of nice
in crazy bursts. I mean, before I left for this last Illinois trip, the forecast I saw was it was going to be too low to run starting this Sunday. So I canceled this Sunday's trip 8 days ago or 7 days ago now, whatever it is. And it turns out it's going to be too high. Like the forecast, as soon as I saw that forecast, cancel the trip, it's completely changed. And now the flow, instead of being under 600, it's going to be over 3,000.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's nuts. The Illinois is doing weird things. So, yeah. And the Oahe has just been the weirdest one of all. The Oahe, don't get me started about the Oahe.
How do you say that?
Because we ran a trip in the snow at 500 CFS, thinking that was the end of the snowpack, and it snowed on that trip, and then it somehow magically went to like 2,000.
Zach, come on. This is science. When it snows, that means there's moisture in the mountains. And then
but it didn't snow that much. It didn't just snowed a little bit. I mean, it's not enough to bring
that. But that's down where you were. Up higher, it always snows more.
Yeah, but not enough to like resurrect an Oahe season. Not to okay. What I think happened though in the Oahe, I think there's reservoirs they were filling, and so water was coming because all the snowtail sites were saying there was enough snow, but the flow was not correlating. And so I've been burned on the Oahe so much where I just don't know what's going on. So I'm like, it's not coming up. It's cold. There's a cold streak coming. It can't, it's definitely not going to come up. The snow is going to melt and be gone. And I think a reservoir filled and then stopped and the water started coming. Because I don't know, whatever happened there is crazy, but
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
But let's talk about Idaho Snowpack really quick because Idaho Snowpack's super interesting right now. This is a webpage I made that has all of the different graphs. So this is like current middle fork flow. And you can see it's like, and the dots here, this is an average flow this time of year. So it's happened on the middle fork because it's been cold and the snow hasn't melted. So it's been really way below average in terms of melt. And it's getting rain on snow, so it's rising up. But it's going to get super cold again. And even though there's good snow, it's going to go down to a minimum discharge. So the snowpack. So these are some graphs I use a lot. This is flow and predicted flow. This one's broken right now, but it's the middle, just regular one. This is a probabilistic forecast that you kind of have to study for a while to understand it. But it's really good for long-term guesses. Like right now, it's telling us middle of July is going to be 3 feet. That's pretty cool. Like 2.8 actually. But this is the graph I look at in the spring to see what's happening. And the gray area is the bounds. Like the down here is the lowest it's ever been, and up here is the highest it's ever been. And it's not the best years. It just takes the best snowpack on each date and maps it. And the green lines are basically average or means or whatever. I don't know. The median and mean, pretty much the same. And so you'll see this year we were doing really well and nothing happened for months. And we were well below, like in April, we were like high 70s in terms of snowpack. And instead of the snow melting like it normally does, it's stopped melting and accumulated, and we went from like 80-ish% to 110, and now we're nicely above average. And the slope of this line is going to slow down with this cold weather. I mean, I bet we're going to make it to 130% at some point for the Middle Fork, which is, I mean, it's May 6th right now. The past few years, the peak has happened third week of May. I think the peak's going to happen in June this year. And you can see we're at 112 for the whole salmon watershed right now. So pretty interesting.
That's great. Clearwater, they all look good. That's fantastic.
The wally's 91%. It was like 50. That's, I mean, just, it's the weird. The wally's just blowing my mind. Yeah, the Selway's going to have a good year. The Middle Fork and the Main will be great. I mean, everything looks good.
Yeah.
And it's going to increase. Like I said, I think the Middle Fork may get to 130 with what's coming up ahead of us. The salmon overall will make it probably 120 based on what's happening. That's just my guess. I'm not Nostradamus.
So we got a question here. How does July 4th lower Main salmon trip look?
Awesome.
Looks good, right?
Yeah. I mean, September Main salmon trip looks good.
I mean, really, Zach, does it help that much in December?
September.
Yeah, it's September. Is it going to be that good still in September? Because like there's not that much. There's not that.
No,
much
my point is, like, I don't know. The Main salmon's always good. I don't. It depends. Irrelevant of flow. Like,
okay, yeah.
How
not
does
this year any more than either. The Main salmon always has good flows. You're right.
Yeah, I'm like Barrett. I'm like, yeah, sure. July 4th is good. The same way September is good. The same way. I mean, the only time that would make me nervous is like early June, because high water Main salmon is scary.
Yeah.
So if you were saying June 4th lower Main salmon, I'd be like, I don't know. But this is lower Main. This isn't even the Main. But I mean, all summer river trips are going to be great. You know, all through till it gets cold again. Yeah, mid-June Hell's Canyon. I don't know. I mean, sure.
Mid-June Hell's Canyon will be big. That'll be big. They'll get some big rapids. Yeah. Man,
yeah, Chris. A May 24th Middle Fork launch, I'd be worried at this point. I don't think the road's. My guess, and I'm not Nostradamus, is that the road won't be open.
Can't you launch then from up it, run down the creek?
Down Marsh Creek?
Marsh Creek, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, people always talk about that, and historically, it's pretty dangerous. I think people underestimate how hard Marsh Creek is, and you have to have a group that's willing to either run Dagger or Portage it. Both options are challenging.
Marsh Creek itself isn't. How hard do you think it actually is? I mean, it's not
depends on the flow.
That's
right.
True. Okay, yeah. If it got higher, it would be scary. If it's low, it'd be pretty mellow. Yeah.
And if you look at this 112% snowpack, it's going to, I think, look at like 120, and on the Middle Fork, maybe 130. Again, I'm not Nostradamus. This is a guess. I could be wrong. So if you don't,
Well, it also depends how warm it is on May 23rd and 22nd. If it's still cool, the flows will be lower. If it's warmed up some, it really depends on the weather right around there. So.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I also just heard there's a bunch of wood in Marsh Creek.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bunch of wood in the Middle Fork because of the fires that happened up there. And so I think Marsh Creek is maybe undoable this year. So I don't know. If it was me, I'd have made 24th Middle Fork launch. I would resist the urge to check the flow 10 times a day. Try to keep it once a day. Check the snowpack once a day, not 10 times a day. And I would look at flying in. Because I don't know. That's usually it opens May 28th, 29th on a normal year. And we're looking, because of the cold weather and the late precipitation, we're looking at some big water, potentially. Again, my best guess. This is not professional advice. So anything to add here, Aaron?
I think just going back to that first graph where they show the expected flow, those have been really nice. And I'm impressed how accurate they are. Wow. Like the one on the Illinois as well. Like they're pretty helpful to give you an idea of what's going on in the future.
I mean, I always say these are for entertainment purposes only. Like on this webpage.
You don't use the Illinois one? Here, we can look at the Illinois.
You like this one right here, right?
Yeah, I mean, here, I'll share.
Have you seen my? No, hold on. Don't take me over. I got a better Illinois one. Have you seen my Illinois one, Aaron?
Show me your Illinois one.
All right. Let me see if I can find it here. You're gonna love this. There's a lot of Illinois graphs. So there's this one you've probably seen before, right?
That's the one I was just about to share. Yep.
Okay, that one's cool, and it's nice to get a sense of what the trend is doing.
Yep.
It helps me make decisions. And have you seen this one? This one
Yeah,
goes,
I don't like that one as much. I like the one above. I think this one is it's cleaner for me to look at. The up
but this
above
one
to
goes
down.
further out. Like we're launching a trip on May 15th, and I at least have some guidance. Although it says here the flow's me 977. It's probably going to be not that, but it goes further in the future, which is nice.
Well, and I can see then when you say that that's for entertainment purposes because it's so far out. I feel like the other one is pretty good. You know, it's particularly like when you launch, you're going to know what's going to happen on your
Have
trip
you seen
in
this
general.
one?
Ooh.
This
You
one has
spend way too much- you spend way too much
probabilities.
time on the internet.
I mean, I have to check flows. I mean, this is another
I
one.
just
Like,
find one and I'm done. There's like that first one's great. It's really useful. Why go further than that?
well, because it's wrong. It's not going to do that.
The first one isn't. How is that not going to do that?
They're all wrong.
It's
But
going to
why
go
not?
up. That one's right. It's going to go up most likely, and then
Uh-huh.
it's going to start working down.
Yeah, I could tell you that. I could look at the forecast and tell you that. This isn't rocket science. But to make some long-term decisions, it's nice to have different pieces of data in front of you. This is just the flow. This is just
Yeah, Zach, you know by looking at the forecast because you study it all the time. For those of us who aren't like watching the Illinois weather every day and recording in our head and keeping track, that's what's nice about these is they give us an idea.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I know
careful, like high water and
I know this is gonna. You know this is gonna happen, Aaron. It's raining really hard. It's gonna come up. This isn't like that hard, right?
yeah, but how long is it going to rain for? But sometimes how hard is it going to rain?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Sometimes these storms come in, they don't rain very hard, just kind of sprinkles. And it's pretty accurate with those. It can tell the difference between like the storms where it's going to pour or not.
Yeah. So. I mean, the Illinois, these are not accurate. I want to be really clear. I wrote here somewhere, like, yeah, these are guidelines. And so why not have different guidelines to go, well, that one's matching that one and that one. So that's probably what's going to happen. Because they're different. Here on May 15th, it says, 1185. This one says 977. Well, I have a high level of confidence it's not going to be 500. And it's probably not going to be 2,500.
What's interesting is they're estimating the flow at Kirby, and Kirby's way upstream from the launch point. I mean,
yeah. Well, the other thing too is, Aaron, this one back on April 29th had the flow on May 8th is below 600. And now it's looking, it's going to hit 4,000. That's how off these are. Like I looked at this one.
But that's you can't look too far in advance.
Yeah.
All
but it gives you a long-term trend.
Yeah. That doesn't really. I like it more. I like it more for short term. But yeah, go for it.
We got notes.
Good job, Chris. Yeah, look for flights.
Yep. It could always. Yeah, heat bubble or cold spell. Like in Idaho, the cold spell, it's unseasonably cold at night. Friends have a road trip in June. What's your advice? My advice is to tell them to have fun. I'm not sure what advice you're looking for.
How is the Oregon snowpack looking?
It's not great. But
yeah, I thought it was like 80,
I haven't checked it
90% or something last time I looked. Yeah,
I haven't checked it, so I don't know. My advice for the Rogue in June is to run pins and clips, bring a throw bag, bring a camera, make sure you purify out of side creeks. That's my advice. Do you have advice, Aaron?
I would say we're going to talk a lot about stuff to do on the trip here coming up in once we start looking at videos and stuff, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's do that. We'll give you
on
advice
here. 3-boat trip. Would you put the least experts first, second, or third in order? On the Rogue, I think it depends on the trip. I would say if it's a high water trip, I'd put him third. If it's a low water trip, I'd put him second.
I was thinking the same thing. Same thing. That's exactly what I was going to say. Okay. Stop sharing. Let's get to some videos. We're going to look at these NRS videos you sent me, and we'll intersperse those with other more interesting videos. How does that sound for today?
That sounds great.
Share screen. I got to do my... We're going to start with how to tie a raft up on shore. All right. You ready? This is NRS.
Turn up. We don't need the volume, right?
No.
This is music.
It's just cool music.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's nice when you can hit it down with your foot, but a lot of times you can't hit it with your foot.
So what if you can't hit it with your foot, Aaron? What do you do?
I mean, don't you use like a persuader, like a hammer, like a rubber mallet of some sort?
I mean, I have never done this in my life.
So I'm gonna say is like, yeah, you need a rubber mallet because a lot of times you can't do that. Like the sand doesn't, it just doesn't work. Like if you can find a pre-drilled where someone had a hole before and you can stick in that old hole and kind of shake it down and you can do it. I don't know where that is, but that's amazing. The next thing I'm gonna say is I would have a piece of webbing attached, not to have the carabiner go straight to the sand stake.
Oh yeah.
And then here's why. And I'll,
because you want your webbing to get cut on the sand stake, so your boat comes loose. Is that why?
Exactly. That's why I want to do it. No, because you don't want the end of your sand stake out of the sand. You want to nail that thing all the way down into the sand, right?
So that the webbing can come up out of the sand, so you can keep pounding it. Oh, that's interesting.
Pound it all the way down. Like way too many accidents of people running their toes into this. And so I would say,
stepping over that. Oh, it's for safety.
For safety. It's a safety thing. Yeah. And I will say when they're up higher, the leverage is worse on them. They're more likely to pull out.
Yeah.
So the farther down you get in it, the deeper in it. And then when you get down there and you have that little piece of webbing off it, the webbing kind of digs through the sand. So it kind of pulls straight. It doesn't come up and out. It kind of pulls straight and it just sits in there better. So yeah, I'm not so far not that impressed with this video, I'll say. And then the other thing too I'm going to say is like,
Aaron, you got to be careful because we want NRS to be a sponsor of the show.
I know you want NRS to sponsor us.
I don't need you to talk badly about
Sponsored
NRS.
by NRS. It's probably an old video.
Wait, don't you? I have a question for you. Should he have locked his carabiner?
Well, I mean,
what if he falls on it and gets clipped to it?
Yeah. Yeah. That's Well, that's interesting. I'm going to say this. If you have a locking carabiner on it, then first of all, the locking pinners are a pain when they get on it because they get full of sand, and then you can't get them open and closed. It's messy. So I don't usually use a locking carabiner on mine, but when I store my sand stake on my boat, I store in a place where the carabiner can't get clipped on anything. And I think that's another big issue with the sand stakes is where you store them on your boat where no one's going to get hurt. So I store mine like in a mesh bag, and then I take it out of the mesh bag, and I'll put it on shore. But yeah, you need a persuader at some point. Now this is a cool knot. Do you ever use this knot? This
is like a taut line hitch on a bite, but it's a little different.
Yeah.
Somebody showed it to me. It was like slightly better.
Yeah. So and I like the rock on the line now. That's a nice touch.
The cool thing about, I mean, I use a taut line hitch instead of this, but I saw how he did it slightly different. And the cool thing about a taut line hitch, what he just showed, is that it's adjustable.
Yeah.
Right. Like you can do it with 2 half hitches too.
Yeah. This works a little bit better, but yeah, I find it slides so and it's not that consistent. It doesn't work that well. So
I'll tell you what happened to me the other day because we're on this. I tied my boat up. I always use this knot. I use 2 half hitches on a bite, but sometimes if I really care more, I'll do a taut line hitch on a bite. When I say taut line hitch, everybody, it's TAUT, like tight line. Sorry, taut for tight, and then taut line hitch. Anyway, it's a good knot to know. And I tied my boat up. I've always used this forever and ever and ever. And I tied it up, and people kept stepping on my line to go over it to like set the kitchen up. And then my boat moved up a little bit, and the knot kind of unwiggled itself.
Wait, so I don't understand why would you use a taut line hitch?
Why wouldn't I?
Why would you?
Why wouldn't I?
Because it can come undone.
So
like why don't you just do the half hitches or do what he did there? Those seem like better options.
That's the same thing as a taut line hitch, basically. He just tied it a little bit differently.
No, but his isn't going to come undone.
Well, mine has never come undone ever. Like everybody does 2 half hitches on a bite to tie their boats up.
No, that's what I'm saying. 2 half hitches on a bite are perfect.
Yeah, that's what I did.
If you're really scared, do a third. If you're really scared, do a third.
But
I do 3 half.
Yeah, no, I do 3 half hitches is a taut. He basically did 3 half hitches. He did like a taut line. Does somebody know the name of this knot?
It's like a taut hitch because he goes twice through the front and then he goes through the back. Right.
That's a taut line hitch.
That's a taut line hitch. I think you said this was something different.
Well, I would go back. Jeez, Aaron, you gotta pay more attention to these videos you share with me. So a taut line hitch, you do. See, I'm gonna go back. You were a Boy Scout, right?
Yeah.
So check it out. He did 1 loop above, right? That was 1 above. And now instead of going another one on top, like up higher, he's doing it more inside. See how he's going like closer to the thing? And so this is like a taut line hitch alternate that I think is like slightly better. Right? So instead of doing half hitch and then half hitch above it. He did a half hitch and then kind of shoved one below it, and then did one below.
I find these always loosen up.
That was interesting. My boat loosened up. My not, because they were stepping on it, going to set up the camp. I just got the camp. I was the first one there. I quickly tied my boat up, and we married our boats, and they tied their boats up. But my knot came undone because it was like constantly the boat was being moved over and over and over. So
did you not have a long enough tail on it? Did you have like a super short tail?
It wasn't super. It was probably like a foot. But
that's a long tail.
I think it's just be careful. Like, I've never had it happen, so it's probably fine. That's what I should have done, is put the rock on it like NRS does, and it wouldn't have been a problem.
Yep. All right. Anything else? So when you tie boats off around a tree, you use the 2 half hitches. You use 2 half hitches, and I'm there too. But if the water comes up on you, what I do is a lot of times I don't want to go in. What I've seen friends do is they'll take their flip line and put it around the tree so they don't have to go up into the vegetation to adjust it, and then they got the carabiner out farther, which I think that's a nice technique.
We've been doing that a little bit.
I'll also do is just go down to the boat side though and pull the line through. There's like a loop on that end. There's a loop where it's tied to the raft a lot of times, particularly if you go to, if they use if it goes through 2 D-rings. So you take the webbing, take the piece of rope and go through there and just pull it up there and tighten it on that end and just tie it.
I've seen people do that.
I think that's super easy. I don't know why people don't do that.
Because you want to get out of your boat, walk up the tree, tie it up, and be done. Because you have stuff to do. You don't want to be like moving back and forth. Like there's work to get done. And so, what we did this last trip was what we've been doing a lot is we marry our boats. So like all the boats get camp strapped to each other. And that's kind of why mine got loose.
How do you marry? Do you marry by D-rings or do you marry by frame?
Ideally frame, but sometimes it's a pain to get frame to frame. So sometimes D-ring.
Yeah, the D-ring, I've seen a lot of D-rings pull out because of marrying D-ring to D-ring.
That's because you run crappy boats. Try running wings. You can do it.
Grand Canyon eddies are a little more surgy than
the Illinois.
Yes,
because the Illinois has been surgy.
Well, and your boats are way lighter too. Your boats are way smaller. You don't have an 18-foot boat full of gear with all that pressure on one D-ring.
I know my goal is frame to frame.
Yeah.
But you know how sometimes the boats are offset and you can't always get to a frame. So I'll go, D-ring to frame, or, if I'm, we counted Dead Man's and there's that rock in the middle. And so there's a boat on each side of the rock.
Yeah.
And we did D-ring to D-ring over the rock. Just because that's the, whatever. This is not.
No, but I think that's best practices is frame to frame.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also the other reason I like that is you're just tied to shore. Sometimes people's knots come undone, something happens. There's this weird stuff that happens, or the sand stake pulls out. And if you go, everyone's married to each other too, that means you've got protection, you've got it.
If my bow line comes undone, I'm not stressed about it. If we had not married, I would always double check my work in the evening. Make sure the boats are still tied up. Marrying them is a backup. And then one of our guides did a bowline, not a bowline on a bite, but they used a bite to tie a bowline. And then, so one was just rigidly attached. So if they did move, it's fine. The rest of us just used 2 half hitches on a bite. So there was one bowline that was solid.
Well, if you do half hitches on a bite right at the top where it can't slip down any farther, that's super solid.
It's true. It's true. All right, here we get some comments.
Okay.
Use that knot to tie float planes to shore. Yeah, it's a great knot. In fact, I've never done it to overnight. I've only done the shoots once.
With the boxcar section, the day stretch?
I've only done the day stretch once. I've never done the other part. That's cool. That'd be fun. Have fun doling on the river. Towline hitch, 2 half hitches inside the loop and 1 outside. Kind of. I think you have to go half hitch, half hitch, half hitch. This was half hitch, half hitch. He moved it down. And yeah, Alvaro, Aaron and I are Eagle Scouts too. So
on my honor.
Yep. Be prepared.
If Dougie were here too, we'd have a third or
fourth.
Yeah.
There's probably a bunch more Eagle Scouts out there. And then I think it is the midshipman's hitch. It's slightly different. I'm going to Google it. So this again is slightly different than the towline hitch. Yes, it's the midshipman's hitch.
Thanks, Michael.
That's nice. It's a midshipman's hitch on a bite specifically. And I think it's slightly better than a taut line hitch for this application. It's just a little.
I think that one does work better. I still don't find it works that well, and they still slide. So
they can slide if it's not tight. That's what we talked about the other day in camp. So this is the midshipman's hitch.
that looks like it's going the other.
So watch, it's one loop, one half hitch, and then the half hitch is low. You see how it kind of goes low instead of if it goes high, it's a taut line hitch, and then it's that one.
Yeah. Nice.
I think it's great for tying. I think this is probably better for tying boats.
I think that's an ideal.
Yeah. The taut line hitch is probably better for tarps.
Yeah. When you're using like smaller diameter and
boat to adjust the length.
Yeah, because I've seen that. That's a nice trick too. Like he puts the prusik on the raft end of the bow line, so he can just slide it up.
Oh, Aaron, I got a good comment for you.
Oh, Thomas, what are you referring to?
You know what he's referring to, Aaron. Thanks, Thomas. That made my day. We don't have to expand. Thomas, you can expand all you want. I'm gonna be.
We're just talking about me flipping one of Zach's rafts coming out of an eddy.
I'm gonna be in best behavior.
We've actually watched the video on that on the show and had a discussion about it.
Yeah, but not everybody's watched the show for 3 years. They don't know we watched 2 or 3 years ago.
All right, so we got here Velvet Falls on a sweet boat. That doesn't look like a sweet boat.
You'll see. So
this is a sweet boat.
I'm gonna make it bigger. I'm turning the volume down too. So we're over here on the middle fork of the salmon of Velvet Falls. What do you think the flow is here? 2-1 ish, something like that.
So you're the expert, man. I'm gonna say I don't like sitting on Paco pads like that. Your butt gets all moldy. It's terrible.
I don't either. People have been packing Paco pads I put on my cooler, and I'm super happy sitting on the hard cooler.
And like the way hers say, do all the water flows on your butt, and your butt just stays wet all day, and you get boater's butt. Not a fan.
Boater's butt, is that a thing?
You've never heard?
I do like how he's using his pull strokes. He's not just pushing. I like that. It's defensive. It's smart. I like how he has a locking carabiner for his water bottle. He's got a walkie-talkie. It looks like watershed bags. Second best dry bag in the market.
What's the best one, Zach?
Dibs. Look, he looks back and he's a double take. There's a sweep boat coming, but it seems really far away, so he's probably good.
Don't get stuck.
It's getting faster, and then the boat in front of him gets stuck. What would you do right here, Aaron?
Eddy out
on the left, and let the sweep boat gut the middle.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to, but he goes in. Remember I did this last summer? We watched that video, Surf the Hole.
Oh, nice move by the sweep boat. Whoa.
That was close, man. If that sweep boat had run over them, that would have been ugly.
Oh, boy. That's a little boat. They're doing a good job of high siding.
Yeah. I remember I took this same surf last summer. I was more in the middle, though. Man, I got to tell you, Velvet Falls, I'm just going to be very clear. Velvet Falls from like 2-4 to 2-1, probably worth avoiding.
That was a nice little surf.
Yeah. All right. Want to move on? I thought that'd be cool.
That was fun. I thought we were really going to see something gross there. I was getting...
No, that's it. I just thought it was cool seeing the sweep boat come through like that.
What are our home rivers? Are they talking to the two of us?
Yeah. Aaron, I mean, you don't have to. Aaron lives in Hawaii right now, so.
Yeah, my home river right now. On a stream. That's the most recent river I ran, but I'd say my home river is really the Tuolumne. But that's
what I was going to ask. Not the river that you necessarily live by, but the one that's like your go-to river.
Like I grew up. We spent a lot of time up there when we were kids, and yeah, that's my home river is the Tuolumne. And by the time most time there. Zach, what do you consider your home river these days?
I mean, if I could pick the one I'd probably spent the most time on, I can identify with the most, it's probably the Tuolumne as well. But I live in Oregon. I mean, I only live a few hours from the Deschutes. I just never go there. I live in Hood River, and probably the Hood River because it's my backyard, and it's. I mean, I had friends kayaking there today. Like I could be out kayaking, but this show's more fun. But like the fact that I can go kayaking on a Friday afternoon is pretty cool. So that's my home river.
I'm gonna say my other home river is the San Lorenzo River in Santa Cruz. Which I kind of consider that like my secret home river. I like that river a lot and grew up around there, and it's a lot of fun. So
All right, Aaron, how to rig a bow line on a raft?
Yes. So like I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, on the technique he's got here. So should we just watch it and then talk about it, or
Can I tell you what I would do?
yes?
I would tie a figure eight follow through.
Okay.
That's what we do with our boats. So that's what I would do.
To one D ring.
To one D ring. Yeah. I mean, we have wing boats, so the D
Turn
rings
down the
don't come
music,
off.
would you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were in wings, so D rings don't break like they would on a different
So
boat.
on this boat, would you do it just to one D ring?
Yes. Well, I have these boats. I have these NRS boats.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, in Idaho.
Do you
I mean,
do
close.
do you do the cam strap on there?
So I don't think my NRS boats have the second D ring. I think I just have the one. And it would,
Really?
yeah, I would think that. I mean, the smart thing here is that at the bottom a D ring handle?
No, it's
Looks
just a
like?
D ring. There's a handle above it. There's a
Are
separate
they
handle glued
separate?
on. Yeah, they're separate.
They're separate.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I think if I was NRS and I made boats, the first thing I would do is not put my logo all over the boats. Like that's the first thing I would do. Just a little device for NRS. I would make these D rings bigger patches so they hold better. I'm not a fan of this. We did this on the tee, if I remember right. We didn't do the bowl-in, but if I remember one thing, there's two problems I have with this technique. I would change the title of this video to "A Technique for Tying a Bow Line to a Raft." I think when you say how to do something, you're claiming this is the way to do it. So I think this might be better labeled "A Technique for Tying a Bow Line to a Raft."
Yeah, but let's be honest. Google people on Google are googling how to rig my bow line.
Yeah. But I
They're
think
trying to answer that question. Give them a break, Jack.
no, I can't give him a break because this is not how to do it. This is a technique for doing it, but I wouldn't suggest anybody do it this way for a couple of reasons. One, they just created a massive entrapment hazard. That loop is just like a leg or a head could get through there. It's a head entrapment hazard. Doesn't follow the clean land principle that well. And then there's this whole thing about angles. I remember learning where it's actually potentially I will see his final angle, but he might be putting more forces on the D rings with this than just tying to one. This is actually tying your rope like this is known as an American death triangle. Have you heard that term?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's like climbing. They talk about live. Basically, if you get past was it 45 degrees?
Well, that's if he pulled. This isn't even an anchor. Like that's if he'd pulled the other one up. Right?
No. It's the same idea. It's just an angle this way. It's the same thing, right? If it's wider than 45 degrees, I think it's 45 degrees. We have to think about our sine and cosine and do that stuff, but we don't want to get in there. But anyways, if it's too wide, then we pull force here. It actually puts more force on each than like you said, if you just pulling directly on one. You can magnify the forces.
Well, are you talking about when you do like self-equalizing anchors or this specific thing?
Both. It's the same.
No,
rule.
It's different. The American death triangle is different than when you pull the rope against the boat through. It's different than what he's doing, which is the American death triangle, because it's pulling instead of both ropes pulling the same place. The vector goes between the two ropes.
Yeah, but you still have the same. Yeah, I understand that, Zach. I guess what I'm saying is it's the same problem as if your angle's too wide. Either way, if your angle's too wide, you have the same problem. Even if you did this as a self-equalizing head and both go there, the angle's still too wide. And
but you're
magnifying it. But this is even worse.
This is worse than the anchor.
Yeah.
Like the anchor, if I did an anchor 90 degrees, I'd be like, that's fine. But when you do the American death triangle, it's worse.
The anchor at 90 degrees is bad too, though, Zach.
Oh, it's bad, but it's not. An angle at 90 degrees is still better than tying to one D ring.
Yeah.
Because it's not until 120 that it's 1-to-1. You can do instructors say 90-degree maximum, but you can actually do more and still have more effectiveness. But
you want it tighter. You want it less. Like I said, you want 45 degrees ideally, something around there.
You don't want to. I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna leave it as you don't want an American death triangle. And those of you who don't know what that is, just Google it. And you don't want to create a head entrapment. I mean, a head could get. I guess if you're wearing a helmet, you're probably fine. So this is probably safe. This probably isn't a head entrapment because a helmet can't probably fit through there. But those of you that don't wear helmets, you got to be careful because your head can fit through there. So I mean this with
so
love. 'Cause I want you to
basically,
sponsor us.
here's the problem with this, Zach.
Okay.
The smaller you make the head entrampment issue, the worse the American Death Triangle becomes.
Oh yeah, for sure. So you got to
So
decide
that's
whether you
the
want
problem. You got to decide: do you want to have
a really
head
bad
entrapment
death
issues
triangle
or death triangle? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the size of your helmet. I mean, so I would get a big helmet, then you can have a bigger death triangle.
But then your foot could still fit through there, Zach. So you still have other issues.
Yeah, but it's on the back of the boat. It's not very likely. Just live life on the edge.
Okay. So let's go back. Like, if you're going to go through 2 D rings,
Okay.
ideally they're closer together. First of all, than this, we would say that.
Okay.
Let's just say you do go through 2 D rings. Would you ever do the death triangle going through 2 D rings?
No, I would never go through 2 D rings.
Now remember how
I'm not gonna say never because maybe I won't. I would most likely not go through 2 D rings. I would just rather have better D rings.
Do you remember how we used to do it on the Tuolumne?
We went through the handle
on the Avons. To the top D ring, and then we'd go down and tie off to the second D ring below it.
Yeah.
So
that's before we knew about. That's before we knew about things like American Death Triangles and head entrapments.
Yeah. However, by doing that technique, most of the load is going on the top D ring, right?
So why not just put on the top D ring?
No, but hear me out. If the top D ring blows, you still got a backup D ring that way.
Don't let the top D ring blow.
Okay.
I mean, just get better D rings. I mean, literally, just make that D ring patch a big one instead of a small one. Like, have good D rings. Get a Moravia. Get a Sotar. I don't know. How often have you seen a D ring blow on the bow line?
A lot. I've seen that towing boats across reservoirs.
Well, of course, towing boats don't tie off to one D ring. That's a thing. So those
I've seen them, and I've seen it lining boats at Lumsden on the Sotars and blow up numerous times. I'm surprised.
Really?
Yeah, the D rings on the Sotars.
Because you get shock load them. Because you throw them over, attach a rope, and it shock loads them.
That is part of the problem, but also the D rings aren't as strong as I thought they were. I don't think they sew them in. They just glue them in. They don't sew that piece of material that goes over. It's not sewn into the thing, so just one end of it pulls out.
I mean, they're all done differently.
But you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
the piece of it goes over top. They don't sew it in.
Okay, so those of you that are portaging Lumsden with a rope tied to the bank and just shoving it over a 30-foot drop.
No, we belay it. We belay it. Come on.
Whatever. Or pulling it off a reservoir. Yeah, maybe tie to 2 D rings. The rest of us, hopefully 1 D ring's enough. That's my opinion. I'm wrong, I'm sure.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Okay. If you have a perimeter line on your boat, and then you go to the 1 D ring that the perimeter line goes through, you're good because it's backed up. So even if that D ring blows out, you're fine. So that's one of the reasons I like a perimeter line.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, right.
That's interesting. Huh.
Right? Then it's backed up. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the question though. Have you ever tied your boat up in camp and had the D ring pop? Have you ever heard of that happening? I haven't. I mean, the bow line and the D ring is really for tying your boat up. And so I think 1 D ring is enough. It's not a thing that's like a problem that we're fighting. Now, it would be a bummer if you tied your boat up to a D ring and the D ring popped. It can't because you lose your boat.
I think I have seen it though. Like there's like, once again, Grand Canyonese are really surging. The yank. And I think I've seen it down there before happen once or twice. Yeah. But I think they had already been loaded and it was kind of a mess. So
so when your dingers get beat up, replace them.
Yeah, exactly. But
or
not all outfitters are as on top of the game as you are in maintaining their gear.
This is for private boaters. They're saying so. I think.
Good point. We got some comments here.
All right. Oh, we probably do. I'm sorry. I'm watching the real video. I like how he's handling the rope there. By the way, this is great rope. This is called Sterling Grab Line. And it's actually really nice in your hand. It feels really good. It's but I would, if you have a little more money, I would get this Sterling Water Line because this rope wears out. It's really this rope has a lot of give and it wears out a little faster. I have some right here actually. Hold on. I'll make myself. This stuff is what we use. Mike, can you see me?
No, you didn't make yourself big. There you go.
This stuff. So Sterling Water Rescue Line. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's a 7/16" water line.
So all the private boats should go out and buy a whole reel of that. Is that what we're saying?
No, they can buy it by the length. I think NRS
Okay.
sells it.
What is it? Do they? Okay.
Buy it from NRS, who I appreciate and want to have them sponsor the show. So I want to be nice to them today, Aaron. You need to be a little nicer to NRS.
Wow, this is role reversal here. Usually you're the one who's hammering NRS.
No, I'm not. I love NRS. So here he's using this. This is called grab line. It's actually, but with a gear boat, like that's a gear boat. I would use the rescue line.
Okay, let's
For
back
a
up.
paddle boat, I would use this.
Back up again to that other part, because let's talk about it a little bit when he's coiling it. Go back to the coil.
Okay.
The original thing. What I really like about this, if you pause for a second, is some people start at the, and you talked about this one day, is some people start the loose end and coil from the loose end going towards the boat, and then the rope gets all twisted. And so I really like how like when he does it this way, it's a lot cleaner, and then and then he leaves some on the other end for wrapping around. So I think this is best practice in terms of.
I mean, this is hold on. This is if you have a lot of free time.
No, this is how you get done.
No, this is if you're like Aaron and the rest of the guys are doing the work. This works great. But those of us that are like just got the groover, tied our boat in the last minute, aren't even dressed yet, I'm gonna untie my boat and just start coiling it to my boat, tie it on and go. I'm not gonna get my boat, my coils out and just nicely loop it into my hand. Take my time like this guy on a nice sandy
Zach,
beach.
how long does it take to walk 5 steps towards your boat to start coiling?
5 seconds. That's 5 seconds.
One step, you walk a step a second. That's
Aaron,
pretty slow walker.
I'm gonna tell you, my whole life I've started at the end and moved my way to the boat.
I know, and I've watched you forever, and it always looks terrible, and it falls apart.
Yeah, but I'm also like run amazing trips because I'm not coiling my ropes the whole time. I'm like doing my job.
Because you saved that 5 seconds.
I'm covering for people like you.
5 seconds.
I'm covering for people like you that are. No, watch how long it takes this guy. This whole process. Hold on, let's time this guy. So we're at okay, mid-second 26.
He's going slow for demoing it. He's demoing it right now. You don't need to go.
I'd already be done. I'd already be done pushing the boat up, and he even had to speed it up, and it's still taking him forever.
So Zach, when you're doing your throwback drill, don't you coil the rope like this?
My what?
When you
yeah, because it's a throwback and it saves somebody in the water.
So don't you want to coil as fast as possible? Shouldn't you use your other technique for that as well? If it's so much faster.
Aaron, no, because no. Because the point is you're at the anchor point to start with. So here's the thing. Aaron, I've been trying to do it your slow way. I actually have been trying on this last trip to go say, let me do it the way where you start at the end, like the boat, and move your way out, and make the nice coils.
Zach, all you do is untie the rope, and you know what I do? I walk down with the end of the line and just kind of walk down, get to a spot that's close to the boat, pick it up, and then start coiling from there. And you know what's easier about this too, Zach?
No.
Is when you're holding it, if the boat's surging, it's easier to hold in place. When you're trying to coil, as you go down, the boat surges out more. So it's easier that way as well.
No, it's not, because what you do is you wrap it around your arm and you keep it tight as you get to the boat, so your boat's tight against the shore.
Yeah, but it jerks you, because if the boat surges out each one as you're stepping down, the other way you're just holding it tight that whole time.
It doesn't jerk me. It jerks you. I'm just saying, like your way is for the guides who are like have a lot of free time. You probably just like clipped your nails while the rest of us were getting the groover and doing the work, right? I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to know everybody.
And then
all my ropes are twisted.
Your boat is going to be your bow line's going to be dragging behind your boat in the rapid, going to get stuck and make things dangerous.
Wait, why? Why is my bow line dragging behind?
Because they come out way more often when people do it that way.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. We got some comments.
So we got some. Yeah.
All right, hold on. Thanks for the answer. 100 degrees is the same. Yeah. Yep. Good. That's right, Haldor. 100 degrees. So like you can go all the way to 100, but that's Haldor. That's whenever it's a real anchor. When it's American, when it's American Death Triangle, I think it's different.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, definitely.
Same full weight on both. Yeah. Okay. Pull up. Yeah. I apologize. Again, we want you to be a sponsor of the show. I might have to kick Aaron off.
Zach, are we really wanting NRS to be a sponsor? I thought we'd like to keep ourselves free and clear so we could be real and authentic with our views on different products.
Yeah, but if we get the big NRS bucks, I can give up a little authenticity for that.
You gotta love Courtney and Thomas. Do you guys like spend hours on the beach arguing over which way to coil the bow line when you're sharing a boat? That's funny.
Man. I mean, Michael's on your side.
Well, it is clean.
Well,
It looks cleaner.
it's not clean line. It's the same line. It's not cleaner. It's
It's
just
cleaner.
hold on. The only difference, Aaron, of your way of doing it is that there's just aren't the kinks in the rope.
No, but you
My
keep
way makes
doing it.
kinks.
You keep doing it, and then you can't get it as clean when you're doing the wraps at the end and putting it over the top.
I can. You can't.
No.
All right, let's yeah, I'll get the groover. That's fine. Hard to bag on their knives if you're sponsored. I mean, even if they sponsor us on a bag on their knives, those things are just. I don't want to go there. If I have to be nice about their knives, I won't take their sponsorship money. That's the one I won't make that concession in the rest. So you can sponsor us as long as I can still bag in their knives.
Yeah.
All right. Are we done with this? Can we move on?
Do
you like that? Do you like the little NRS strap to tie it on?
No, I want to talk about that.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about the coil. There's a couple of things I like to talk about. First of all, I see people do that. I don't dislike it, but I like having the rope on the inside of the boat where I can see it. If that makes sense. Like
you just throw it in the back of your boat and just sits there like a lame duck?
Particularly for the bow line. Like it's usually this is the bow line. The stern line's usually stuffed in deeper, but I like it on the inside of the boat because when I find when it's on the outside, it gets wet and gets hit by waves and stuff. Over time, things can come undone. And I've seen people who's
it won't come undone like this, Aaron. With a cam strap.
I've seen it. I've seen them loosen up still.
Probably because they tied it your way.
No, like the wrap around aren't that tight. So the wraps around aren't that tight and they loosen up and they slide down. And then it's like half dragging the water. It's still held up, but part of it's like imagine the middle part. That middle part could still slide down, right? It could loosen up and slide down.
All right,
does that make sense?
Not it can't, but whatever.
I've seen it happen.
Okay, cool. I don't know how, but whatever.
Here's my thing.
Okay.
I don't have problems with this. I think that's a clean way. I think it's more steps. It's more stuff to do.
Yeah.
It's back to Zach's problem of like, you're doing all the work and Zach is sitting there monkeying with putting the little end in.
I'm not monkeying. I'm doing my rope. I'm throwing it in my boat and I'm going.
No. So that's the thing is, so you either do this or I like to keep a little bit longer, like about this much length. So I can lay it inside my boat and then I can see it and I know where it is. If it falls on the outside, I ask someone to grab it and pull it back in, which is annoying.
I mean, does it even matter if it falls out, honestly?
Well, I think it does because I've seen when it floats outside, but I've seen it coming down so many times.
I've seen that. You got to stop saying I've seen this. I've seen that.
Well,
give me
it does.
Okay. I've had mine fall in my boat a million times.
I get annoyed. I watch and I'm watching during the day and this person just letting it float all day. And
I let mine float all day.
Yeah, and I've seen yours come undone.
No, you haven't. It's come undone. You're right. But I fixed it.
Did we just have a video on this, Zach?
It comes undone and somebody says, "Hey, Zach, fix your bow line," and I fix it. And it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But sometimes I'll tuck it in. But like in Illinois this last week, I needed to jump out and just grab that thing and get something.
No, but here's the thing: that's why I say lay it over the top with that little side, because then you can jump out quickly and you have a little bit of place, so you can have someone hop out and grab it and hold on to it. And they've got enough. It's not just like this. You can't grab it and like sit down on shore and hold on to it very easily and hold the boat in place.
Yeah, you get out and do the cam. You get out and do the cam strap. So if it depends on the river. This guy's on like what looks like a class 1 river. This is great, but if you're on a hard river, or sometimes if you flip and you don't have a flip line, you can use your bow line to do it. It's hard to get to it. Like
I can't believe you're recommending that. I can't believe you're recommending that.
It's a good backup solution.
I'd say it is a backup solution. I wouldn't say it's good. Because it's such an entrapment issue. It's like all over the place.
Okay, whatever. So
you're better off with the little side thing, Zach. If you want to back up,
I'm not getting the flipped angles.
There's no way. Flipped angles are way better.
Okay. Anyway,
they're way faster and more efficient.
Aaron, my take is that if you're on like this guy's on the desert, he's probably running, Deso grade or something. This is great. It keeps it out of the way. It's easy. He has all day long. You can tell by how fast he's coiling the rope. He's like not in a hurry. But like if you're running into like shore really quick, you have to jump out in a short eddy, you want to grab that bow line and just hold the boat real quick. So I like mine a little loose. I think I'm with you. It depends on the trip.
Yeah, but I think I will say one of the key things I think is when you're doing the wraps, where I see a lot of people get lazy, they just kind of wrap it around, put it over the top, and go. If that first wrap, you make sure go over the top of the other one, real nice and clean. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm talking about there? Like how you like, it's coming
tie
up,
the knot well.
Fold it.
You're basically just saying tie it well, Aaron. You're just saying do a good job.
Do real clean wraps. I think take an extra couple seconds, or that's where I see most people make the mistake. They just throw it around. put over the top and go.
Like Homeboy, watch Homeboy here. These are nice.
Yeah, he goes over the top. He goes over the top very clearly towards his hand on each
and
one.
He's like, you can see he's even like fidgeting with it. Like he did a good job here.
Now, here's a question for you. I like to be a little more center with my wraps than that. That's a little top for me, but this is just me being really nitpicky. I think it's great. Yeah, but then you don't have as big of loops on the bottom.
My loops are smaller. I wouldn't make them this big because this is
and I agree with that too.
It's major. I mean, it's hard to do a bow line without an entrapment. It's hard to do.
Right? Well, I think are you running class 4 or 5 water, or are you running class 3 multi-day with beaches where you got to go a long ways to tie off your boat? If you're running class 4 or 5 in general, you're not pulling your boat. You're not going very far to tie off. You want a shorter line for numerous reasons. You don't want this crazy long bow line. So I think that's a key thing too, is what you're doing in the rivers you're doing. So what's your feeling? I work for a couple outfitters that you are never allowed to pull your boat up on shore. You always had to tie it off. What do you think about that rule?
I mean, this is like judgment based versus policy based. I got the never, but just the general premise. I'll just tell you, idea. I still guide, and I know there's times I want to just pull it up on the sand and I'm good. Right? Again, I have work to do. I have to make lunch. I have to tell the guests about leave no trace principles. I don't always if it's obviously I can pull the boat up and it's fine. I may not tie it up, but I have pulled it up on sand, and everybody's like, "Hey Zach, your boat's floating away." I'm like, okay, it's fine, but it's a little embarrassing, especially when you're the owner. It's not a good thing to. It's not a good look.
Do you like the thought of your guides pulling the boats up on shore? Or would you rather have them tie them off?
I mean, I want to trust them to make good decisions. Now, I don't want them to be lazy and make bad decisions. So I don't want to make a policy. You always have to tie your boat up.
No, I'm not saying a policy. I'm just bringing up as an example of the one extreme.
If it's a scout, for sure. If it's lunch, you definitely tie your boat up if you're walking away from it and it's above a rapid. So a scout for sure. But if you're making lunch right next to it, and there's not a lot of places, there's nowhere easy. It's really hard to tie up. There's you're basically tied up to a rock this big. What's the point? Just pulled up really well.
What do you think about having someone hold your raft while you go scout instead of tying it up?
It depends who it is.
Yeah, like a newbie, the person who knows nothing about rafting.
I'm not going to do that.
Why is that?
Because they might mess up.
Yeah.
I mean, a newbie like a new guide, or a newbie like a guest?
Just someone who just doesn't know anything. Doesn't know how to. Someone who doesn't know how to tie the boat off.
I'm going to tie it up.
Yeah. No, and I think that's a good thing. But I see a lot of people just say, "I'll hold on to the raft," and then something happens, and they need to go down to help. And it's just, if you're going to scout, it's better.
Your raft's above the rapid or scouting. If it goes in, that's really bad. Yeah. If you're making lunch and it's a pool, and worst case scenario, you just swim out to your boat and get it. I get it. I've done that a bunch where I pull my boat up on shore and I got to swim in my boat and look like an idiot. The worst case scenario there is I'm just going to look stupid. Mm-hmm. But again, I think that's people sitting in office versus reality. And sometimes the reality is as guides, especially, we have a lot of work to do. And so,
I think that's true. It's not that hard to tie up your boat. And I think there's something to be said for you tie up your boat. I like the never always thing. I agree with you, but I mean, Zach, I pretty much always tie up my raft.
Yeah, I do too. But I'll tell you, the other day we stopped at South Bend before Greenwall, and it was just a quick 5-minute pep talk. I was right there. My boat was right there. I could have just pulled it up. It's not a big deal. There's sand. I tied it up. But I'm going to say 1 out of 15 times, I might think about not tying it up. I'm not going to set up a policy that everybody always has to tie it up.
And I'm not suggesting a policy. I'm just suggesting, once again, talking about best practices, I would say, tie up your raft.
It's best practices. Tie up your raft. It's not that hard, but sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you're like, whatever.
All right. So we got some comments.
I like to, I mean, having a bow line like this sitting in a raft is dangerous. It's
Peter, it is. I think about that. But then also say clean lines, having that cam strap on the outside and having it attached there. The bow line's just a mess. I will say sometimes what I'll do is if I have a perimeter line on my boat, depending on the perimeter line how it's setting, I'll take the bow line and stuff it under the perimeter line, and then it's not flapping around so much. I can still grab and pull it out real fast. I like that works pretty well.
There's two solutions. One of them is get a bag, get like a bow line bag. I'm sure NRS, our future sponsor, sells them. So go to
Zach,
NRS.
do you know something that I don't? Are you working this hard now? Is there something new going with NRS?
There's not.
NRS got some money. Are they gotten really rich and need to?
I'm just kissing up to them. Hopefully somebody listens and they want to support us. But go to nrs.com and buy a bow bag. Or Mark Hurst has a way to do it around the perimeter line. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
Yeah, you've got that in that video.
It just takes a long time to do.
And I think it's hard to have it clean enough. And I've seen them having the right size diameter, getting it right to pull it. It's a tricky one to work with. I've seen them come undone. So, yeah.
Okay, Dolan on the river. I'm not a pack rafter. So I own a pack raft and I have been pack rafting, but I am the wrong person to ask about anything pack rafting related. Aaron claims to be a pack rafter, and he maybe can answer but he doesn't do alpaca. He does Kokopelli.
I'm a Kokopelli guy.
Yeah.
And they've got great directions for theirs. So
yeah. So I don't know what Mount Waddington is, the boat well, but I know how to lay out. Yeah. I have no idea. Dolan on the river. Sorry. You know what I'd suggest is just get a ducky, especially if you're doing the shoots. You don't need a pack raft. Just get a ducky because you have lots of room.
I will say this on them. It's just general, like we talk about perimeter lines on rafts, and having not a full perimeter line, but having a little perimeter line in the front and the back of your pack raft is really nice for grabbing it and moving it around. And the other thing I'll say is if you're doing something with portages on a pack raft, as it is nicer to line your raft, it's also nicer to be able to line your pack raft. If you've got something that you can line it with real easily, it's just so much easier than carrying on shore. When you've got all that gear in it, it's all heavy, you can just line it down and pull it over some rocks. So those are my thoughts on it. And I'll also say I like thigh straps. They're really nice for pack rafts. If you whitewater kayak for sure, and you have the option to do that, really helps.
Yeah, you could also Google alpaca, and I bet they have a phone number. They might have some advice. If you call the company.
Right,
okay. Does anyone put their bow line? Some people do. It seems cumbersome to me. Some people do. Some people swear by them, and they're probably the people that swear by them are probably listening to this, cringing, thinking we're dangerous idiots.
So wait. So how do those the bow line bags work? Do you stuff it in?
It's like a throw bag. You just
then you grab the loose end. And then you got to get the whole rope out before you can actually hold on to it.
Yeah. It's work.
That sounds like if you want to hop out quickly and secure your boat, that sounds like hard to do. Okay.
But Aaron, I think sometimes you're thinking about guiding Cherry Creek, and some people watching are just doing the Deschutes.
Yeah, but I'm doing the Deschutes. I don't want to sit there stuffing throwback sucks. It's way easier to coil rope.
Yeah, you could also. I think you should bring an assistant when you go on trips, Aaron, who does this stuff for you. So you that's
what you do, huh? That's why I should become an outfitter. So
you can do high level stuff, like stand there and look pretty, and then you have an assistant who can pack your ropes in a bag.
And I can tell them they need to do a better job next time and play that would do better.
Sure. The only problem with using a cheap throw bag is that it might be a lot of rope. And sometimes you only need 30 feet, 20 feet, depends.
But I will say, I know people who they have a bow line in their boat, and if they have to pull them backwards, they just use their throw bag and they clip it on and go.
I think it works. So. The coil. There we go. People use bags.
See, he coils it too.
Like this, puts the coil in the bag, or just coils it in the bag like this.
Did you coil? So Jake, do you coil it up like this, or coil it in loops and then put it in, or do you do the throw bag coil thing?
Or whatever you were just doing there with all this, I don't think it made any sense.
You pull the rope over your shoulder.
All right. Previous Deschutes boat. Yeah. No, I would stick with the Super Puma. If it was me, if you want us to give you advice, this is Aaron and Zach's naive and entitled rafting show. Our advice would be to go rafting, and to save the pack raft, we have to hike in somewhere.
Yeah. I think our appreciation for pack rafts is if you want to fly someplace to run a river, or you want to take your gear with you, or you need to hike in a long ways to go do something.
Yeah.
It's awesome because it doesn't beat your body up so much. But those are hard shell kayaks, and rafts are preferable.
I would say I get a ducky, man. Duckies can carry so much more stuff. But everybody has their own thing. Some people like pack rafts, right, Aaron?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most people just do this, cram it in the bag and deal with it later.
Yeah. Totally.
This is, I mean, the length is the.
Oh, this is a great question. This is a really good question.
I mean, here's my take, and these numbers are approximate. I'm going to do paddle boats with that yellow rope we see in the video. With that paddle boats, get that yellow rope that's the grab line. That's like 25 feet. A gearboat is going to get the thicker red rope that's 50 feet, maybe 40.
I mean, we used to, for our creek boats, we used to cut old 75-foot throw bags in half when we'd use those for our bow and our stern lines.
Yeah. I mean, 35-ish feet is good. I'll do longer in a gearboat because a lot of the camps, have a long way up to tie up, or so it depends what you're doing. Like like the Rogue. Yeah, some of those camps, it's nice to have a long rope from the Rogue. So.
Well, a lot of them, they're so far too. You're gonna have to use a throw bag anyways, or something else to extend, right?
Yeah. Hey, do you want to get to the meat and potatoes of the show? I got a really cool video.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna call this the meat and potatoes. I gotta find this video though.
Pulling stuff in the bag.
This is gonna be a good talk about rope use. I think you're gonna like this, Aaron, and everybody else watching. Here we go. Sorry, everyone, for how long this takes. Do you see it? Oh, sometimes the videos don't work when I do this way. Can you guys see the video?
Nope, no video, not seeing it all.
Oh, that's a bummer. I had a really cool video. I wonder if I can fix that somehow.
Uh-oh. Maybe we need to come up with do you have some stuff you want to give away, Zach?
Oh, yeah. Do you want to do a contest while I play with this?
Yeah, maybe we should let's try to figure out a contest. We got to figure out something to ask. Yeah.
So while I work on this, Aaron, you can be in charge of the contest. I have 2 Sawyer 55th anniversary silly pints. Brand new. Sawyer. They're pretty cool.
Okay.
It's their 55th anniversary.
50. Oh, 55th anniversary.
And so these are great for river trips because they're squishy. You can just throw them in a box. You can step on them. You can drink coffee or cold. So do you want to do a contest for who?
Are they made out of silicone?
They're silicone. They're silly pints, silicone pints.
Okay. How about Zach? You're the expert on leave no trace. Give us a leave no trace question.
No, Aaron, I'm gonna do the tech stuff while you do a question. I gotta think. God.
Oh, I have to come up with the question.
People can just Google leave no trace, and I'm not an expert on leave no trace. I just happen to know it exists. I think most people don't even know.
Not yet. What's the comment? Not yet. Oh yeah, no one saw it. Oh.
Or can somebody out there, while I do tech support here, help Aaron with the question?
I got to come up with a question. Wow, this is a tough one.
This isn't that hard, Aaron.
Man, I'm getting stage fright here or something like that. I can't come up with anything off the top of my head.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Can somebody help Aaron out?
Mm-hmm. Oh, there we go. Got it. Thank goodness. We'll come back to that.
Okay, I got to work. So let me come up with a question while we're doing this. The question is, somebody name the only wild and scenic river in Colorado. Whoever does that first. And you have to be a member. John became a member just in time. You have to be a member. This is members only. Thank you, John, for being a member. Members only. Tell us the only wild and scenic river in Colorado. There's one. And then we'll pick the winner, and you can email Aaron, and we'll send you the cups. All right, while that's happening.
Wow. And you told me, yeah, go ahead.
What was that?
Nothing.
What did I tell? Well, are you going to give me a hard time?
Don't worry about it. This looks like Greenwall.
You got it. Look at that. Nice flow, beautiful sunny day. So.
You still got your dry suit on, eh?
No wetsuit. Everybody wearing dry suits was dying of heat. This is wetsuit weather.
Look how strong you are.
Hold on. Do you notice what I'm missing?
Are you missing a spare oar?
Nope. I have the spare for the paddle boat even. JD Rogie, you got it first. Oh, you know what we should do is give each of you one. I got 2. Barrett and JD Rogie. How about if we give each of you guys one? Because you guys
That
both
sounds
got
cool. Yeah. They're cool.
So email Aaron@riversnotions.com your address, and I'll mail them off to you. I'm missing one of my favorite items.
I have no idea. Zach.
My lucky Greenwall scarf.
Oh, I would not have ever guessed that. Thank goodness if I'm not seeing that anymore.
Aaron,
All right.
after all the hard times you guys gave me, I decided to stop wearing my lucky Greenwall scarf.
Oh, good. That's great. Your entrapment hazard.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go back to this mode. There we go. This is better. So before I want to give you one caveat here, Aaron. This boat's heavy. So if I make mistakes, like I've got 28 bottles of wine on here on top of a regular gear boat. So I want to let everybody know, like I'm not perfect here. I'm doing my best. This is in the flow. I think this day was like 1800, but it felt like 2200 because the side creeks were kicking. You know how you try to get close to that rock?
Mm-hmm.
And this, I kind of didn't get close to it. You'll see I go right over the other rock. So I want to be like 8 feet to the right there, but it worked out fine. And then that
it slowed you down nicely.
Yeah, that was actually pretty helpful. I was able to miss the hole and ride this eddy line down. I kind of want to start catching that eddy right there.
Above, right there, you just went past.
Yeah. So Aaron, for all intents and purposes, it was 1800 on the gauge, but it's really like 2500 for what I've done before. What's your line?
What's my line these flows?
I don't know.
I work left for this part, and whichever the farthest left shoot I can do cleanly, and then work back to the right. And if I can't go back to the right, you kind of work down through the rocks there on the left.
Okay, cool. So I'm doing that line. I'm going for the far left channel.
Yeah.
Right. And it's tight. The one that's almost before far left, it goes, but it looks kind of nasty. Right.
Yeah, I might have tried that one just over, depending. But
you might have gone over one. Yeah.
If you can't, I might stick my. Oh, there's another rock there too. Ooh,
it's rocky. So I get stuck.
I like these techniques. Just put your tail between your legs and like grind down the side. These are my favorite lines.
I love it because it's harder and lower consequence. Like the easiest line is just go down the middle. Just go gut the hole. Like I'm gonna choose the super technical hard line that has
but Zach, I mean, how do I say it? This isn't sexy. This isn't if you can do it without getting out and moving your boat and shifting your boat around. Yeah, I mean, if you really need to go this route for a safety reason, I would say yes. But otherwise, I'd rather be a little cleaner. Does that make sense?
So you're saying don't get stuck. You suck because you
get stuck. What I'm saying is like I'll go a route where I have to get stuck if it's a way like if I'm reducing my risk significantly and the other route is pretty sketchy. But if the other route's really clean as well, then I'm not going to take this.
I didn't think the other route was clean. We all looked at it like, I don't know. It's pretty nasty. This, like, and I'm lead boat. Although, so I'm like, I'm trying to be conservative. We're all going for the same line. Anyway, there's a cat behind me, a big cat, like a safety cat. That's an important detail. What do you think the safety cat should do when he sees me here?
If you can eddy out.
He goes for that.
Line. That's perfect. That's great.
So he took the line he didn't want to take, but he gets stuck.
That's fine. But I mean, it's a cat. First of all, you can go almost anywhere in a cat, and if it's a big cat, and then like that's not a bad line. And now this is the question: what you don't want is both of you guys coming off at the same time. So it looks like you're letting him go first now.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell from this angle, but he's pretty stuck. Like the cat's wanting to wrap.
Really?
There's a little floor in there for like, it's like a food floor. So it's wanting to wrap right now, and it's kind of unstable and messy. We're going to get some different angles here in a second. So I feel like I'm stable. Managing him, like, okay, let's just make sure he's good.
Would you throw a bag from there to try to pull him off the rocks? You can do that right now.
Yeah, he's pretty stuck.
Do you worry at all that you're going to pull yourself off the rocks in the process of doing this?
I'm not gonna pull him. I'm gonna throw the other end of the shore.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Because I want to be stable and watching everything. I don't want to be
Yeah.
pulling a rope. And there's
No, exactly. No, I thought you were going to pull your rope, and I was like, wow, that seems kind of sketchy to me because you could loosen yourself up. Yeah. Wow, this is full on.
Yeah. Luckily, there's no more boats coming down. Imagine if we had more boats coming into this mess. But if you were the cat boat, would you just come behind me and just run into me from the back instead of taking that channel?
I'd have to look at and see. I don't know. I maybe the next channel over one. There's another route that's cleaner than this. I know there's a better route.
No, at this level, Aaron. At this level, the whole right side is just pour over city. It's pretty nasty. Like you could run a gearboat over it and probably be fine, but it was one big beat down city. So it was either the channel
even just to the right of where the cat got stuck.
Yeah, it's beat down city over there the whole way.
Huh.
Yeah, none of us wanted to go over there in any type of boat. Maybe in the cat, I would have thought about it, but yeah. And this is low risk. Like, why go for beat down city when this exists? So what do you think so far? What's going through your head right now?
I mean, it's hard to see without seeing the cat, but I mean,
we'll get that view in a sec.
Are you getting your camera out? Nice. Yeah. Take some photos. Yeah. I don't know. Are you prepared for your boat to come off those rocks?
That's a good question. So first of all, the thing I wish I thought of better was, what if my boat comes off right now?
Yeah, with that rope across there, and yeah, that looks messy in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that was not something I thought of at the time. I was worried about him, like the boat coming off and he's stuck on the rock, or he falls in, or I was worried about a lot of stuff. So I was like, let's get him off. I'm stable. But I wish I thought about this rope a little bit better. But they get him off. And the beautiful thing about the rope is he can be sitting in his, like if he pushed and pushed and pushed and the boat came off, it's hard to jump in a cat with no floor. Like there's a floor for where the passengers would go, the gear goes, but there's not he's on a slant board. So it comes off. All right, so hold on.
Is that rope tied off to the cat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Jay Drogi there.
Tension wrapped when it floats free. Yeah.
Why is that showing up on top of?
I don't know. I think this software we use just is not good.
Yeah, don't tie the rope.
A tension.
I
wrapped to the frame. What's a tension wrapped to the frame?
Like what you could do is you could do something like you take a bite of the rope. Let's like if he's got does he have the throwback side or the non-throwback side?
He has the non-throwback side.
That makes it easier because
that's why I threw him the end of the rope. You saw it first, and I threw the bag to shore.
So if you take the end that's free, and if there's no knot on the end of the rope, you can just wrap it around the frame a couple times, and you can just hold on to that. And then when he comes undone, he lets go of it and it loosens up, and they can just pull the rope to shore, and then he can go and row. Yeah, the tension thing is a great idea. Yeah,
that didn't cross my mind or his mind at the time. Like in retrospect, that's a great idea. Or what I maybe would have done was have him put a pulley on his boat and had them anchor that throw bag and do a 2-to-1. I pull on the 2-to-1, and then the rope goes through the pulley. That's what I thought of afterwards.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want you pulling on the line. I'd worry about you dislodging your boat, but you know how secure it is. So,
I thought just for the record, I thought my boat was really secure. I just wanted to say that now because wrap the rope 3 times around the frame. Yeah, I think that's pretty smart, JD Rogi. And it's one of those things where and talking about it now, like duh, but when somebody's like where 2 boats are like stuck in the middle of Greenwall, you're just like, how do we get this thing off? How do we get out of this situation?
Zach, I think this is important, is coming back to the thing of like, what happens when that boat comes off? And that's a really important question to always revisit.
Think about after.
Yeah, like what's the next step? What are we going to do next? So we're doing this now, and that's going to cause what things to happen. And when each of those things happens, what are we going to be doing next?
Yeah. So, and when we teach this stuff in our classes, my new thing is THUD. Think about after, have a leader, upstream safety, downstream safety, right? So we didn't do a good job of thinking about after. We were like, let's just get this boat off because this is kind of weird. but we should have done a better job. So, all right. So now that boat is tied to the rope is tied to the boat. Guess what happens next?
They pull him into the eddy on the left.
That's what I thought was going to happen. That was my thinking was that happens. So JD Rogi says, I have seen shit shows where the raft floats free and people have to toss the rope and bag into the river.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that's what's coming next. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, we'll just have them pull them in the eddy and we're done.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen. They throw the rope in.
Oh, God.
So it comes down, kind of gets pinned up against the rock. I'm stoked. I'm sitting here on my boat. Like, I'm going to get some good video, some photos. This is my really good camera. My like really expensive camera.
Uh-oh. What's going to
So,
happen?
the way I edited this, you see the video. You're supposed to see the video. There we go. This is what's happening. I edited this so that you can see me on my boat up here in the corner. And this is the video I'm taking now with my camera of him going down through that channel you're talking about, the kind of nasty channel.
That cat's tough with the white. Yeah. There it is. Get it, go.
Get stuck again.
I think I've gone out to the right where he just went left there before. I've slid back right there. It's kind of fun going out there.
Check that out. There's the rope. Do you
Where?
see his hand?
I see his hand. Yeah, I can't see the rope, but yeah.
This is totally unexpected rope disaster. Do you see the rope right now? On the front left a little bit. It's chalked.
Yeah.
It's chalked.
Yeah.
And now I don't know how it does this. So when he spins, he has to go up over the rope. See that?
Oh yeah.
Now it's caught. He has to go under it again. And then it comes free. Now he still has a rope following him.
That's so sketchy.
Yeah. But now watch what happens to me. I'm with my expensive camera videotaping him. And my boat magically comes free.
I mean, if you wait long enough, they'll come undone. It's like the raft thing. Like that's. I mean, how many times has that happened? That's why I was like, that's why that was my concern the whole time. Like, oh man, that boat's gonna come free. I know you're just sitting there because the flow fluctuates a little, comes up a little bit. You don't know what's gonna happen. You know, like nothing's in equilibrium. So
I have my really expensive camera. I just set it down on the boxes. I have a little watershed bag. My watershed bag's in there clipped on. I just put it inside the bag real quick, and then jump on the oars.
So your watershed bag's open, and
it's open with my expensive camera in it. I really want to make this move. You know this move. I love this move. And I can't quite make the full move. So I'm like, all right, here we go. I've never been through this channel before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it went okay, but this is all with my expensive camera in my open bag.
Wow. Oh,
I hate hitting that thing.
Well, you made it.
Made it. So anyway, it's nice to have two boats downstream. Now we had throw bags downstream. Now we have downstream safety. So my anxiety level goes down.
That's thanks for sharing that. And I think that's something that a lot of people wouldn't share, just with the whole mess with the ropes. And I think that's why we keep going back to is like, yeah, you can use ropes from shore, but if you don't need to, don't do it. You know what I mean? Like that's something like maybe you could have tried a little longer to get the cat off, shake it, do a little bit more before you do a rope to shore, just because of all the problems. Once you start getting ropes out, it just takes things to another level in terms of the risk factor.
I mean, I felt like we needed it. Like,
yeah,
we'll see in a second. Like, he was so stuck. I was like, I just wish we had thought about the aftermath, because in the moment we're in the middle of Greenwall, we're the lead boats. I'm just like, let's get this undone. And I was under the assumption they'd pull him into the eddy. I'm like, oh, cool, just pull him in the eddy. He'll be fine because it's a cat boat. I should have communicated that to them. Like, hey, guys, pull him in. Don't just throw the rope in.
And he would have known he could have like helped pull himself over too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have worked that way. Yeah, and they could have. Yeah, but I think that's great. Have we gone through all these comments?
I don't know. Hold on. Watch. Here it is again. I put it back in the end of the video just to watch. I mean, luckily he's super agile with the rope, but it's amazing how quickly that rope becomes a mess. Look at that.
Yeah, that's sketchy. And it's just lucky. You're lucky it came loose and didn't stay snagged because the other end's got the bag on it, which can really get
It
lodged.
could have chalked it and then just eddied him out.
Yeah,
Which
you could have chalked it. It could have chalked into really messy.
He would have just cut it. I mean, I don't honestly like this. Isn't the worry here is the rope just knocks him out. I don't see him getting entangled in the rope, and maybe it's possible, but I mean, who knows? I mean, with ropes, you never. I mean, I did not see that coming at all. Like, how is he gonna like? I thought I was just gonna follow him down, right? When they threw the rope, and I was like, all right, I'll just follow him down, probably be fine. But ropes do like completely unexpected things.
Yeah. Well, you remember that trip when we were on Giant Gap and that boat got away? Were you on that trip? When we were portaging at Locomotive and that boat got away from us and we go downstream and the bow line was on there because we're lining it and then we come downstream and the boat's just sitting in the middle of the river and it was a piece of webbing. It was chalked in the bottom of the river and it was just like the raft was just sitting out in the middle of the river, just like.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when ropes are loose in the river, it's amazing how quickly they find something.
Yeah. But at the same time, like this is something I'm hyper aware of. I talk about all the time. But when you're in the middle of it and like you're just like, I got issues. Like let's just, we forget these things.
Speaking of that,
this is the Illinois. This is not the Middle Fork salmon.
Yeah. Speaking of what we were just talking about, we were talking about bow lines before. I think that's a big reason to have a floating bow line because when you use that webbing, like the 1-inch webbing for your bow line, your stern line, it sinks. And I've just seen the webbing bow lines are the ones I've seen get chalked the most.
Oh yeah,
because they sink. Versus like if you got floating line, it's a lot better.
Well, this is the video from shore, so you can see the whole thing. There was a private boater there. We had people on shore. Like this was videoed like every angle possible. This is a video of somebody else videoing. So we got tons of shots of that I throw in what it looks like.
Is that one of your guides there too, Zach? Who's just videoing the video?
Yeah.
That is a heavy boat. You got a lot of stuff on there.
It was a heavy boat.
But actually, you got to be careful with Zach because he likes to put stuff on top and like leave empty spaces underneath to make it.
There's no empty spaces this trip.
Yeah. He's probably got some empty dry bags full of air in the bottom. Oh.
I thought I had this. I really wanted.
Oh, this is a better angle to see that. This will be great to see how the other boat got stuck.
So once I see him come down, I'm like, all right, let's. Actually,
I mean, it's not that wide either. The cat's wider than that, isn't it? Is the cat going to be able to get through there okay? If it went through that one?
Wait, first of all, see that there's maybe a line.
There's a totally line through there, Zach. There's definitely a line through there.
It looks. This is being a short thing. It looks.
The problem
maybe a line. The line is pretty far right. There's flushes pretty far right, but it's so hard to make in a raft.
No, but the problem is he was setting up the pullover where you were. If he was,
there's a line. There's a line where he is. He just missed that line. But the rock downstream, like there's a hole in front of it, and there's a rock that all of us were just like, no, we don't want to deal with that. Yeah, like there's definitely a line, but
that's I think if I remember quickly, I would usually do is go in that middle chute when I was running a gearboat. When I've had people, I'd go the far left chute, because
I've done that before. But there's also enough water to make it through here. I just didn't make it.
I think your boat's too heavy, but yeah,
possibly, yeah. But also like, I don't mind getting stuck a little bit. I wished he'd caught the eddy, but he needed to drop momentum. He was carrying too much right to left momentum. Into that.
Let's see. I want to see what it looks like when he's actually stuck. But yeah, he would to make that he would have to turn and pull back to reverse.
Yeah, he had to dump momentum. Yeah. And see how it wants to wrap.
Yeah, I mean it's a cat.
It's not wrapping like a raft, but it's like that tube's going underwater, and these are like 26-inch tubes.
I'm going to say this. I think he could have got that boat out there without a line from shore.
I don't think so.
Because does he ever put his weight forward? Go put his weight like I think he's doing. This is good right here. And if he pulls up, yeah, that's good.
I'm just watching. I'm like,
but the problem is there's too much force on the back of the boat trying to push it around towards your side of the rock.
What I'm really worried about is that left tube comes up the rock and pushes him off.
Oh,
right? Like
the cat's so light, it would just flip the cat.
Or flip the cat. I don't want to flip the cat either, because then I have to go chase it, and he's on the rock. Like I want him on that boat off the rock. I don't want him left behind, because I have to deal with that, and I don't want an upside down. We're lead boat, so if that boat flips and it goes downstream, we can't.
I would say this: if you got a little more weight on the forward on that boat, I think it would come off. Because I think that the right tube, the backside of the right tube is catching a lot of current, and that current's pushing it into the rock that he's standing on.
You're saying if he had more stuff in that boat, it would have come off.
No, I'm saying if he kind of puts his weight on the front left side, that front left tube, and kind of pushes it down the water and pops that back right corner up a little bit, it would probably have less. It would start working its way down.
Yeah,
I would try a little bit. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it would go up, but I would try a little longer before I got a rope from shore. You got time.
Well, again, my fear here is it was surgy, and with that tube rides up the rock, it could push him off the rock.
That's true.
And swimming green wall from there is not pleasant. And I mean, I have a throw bag. I'm ready, but like, I'm not for sure going to hit him. And this is a Moravia, not a urethane boat. So it's a little stickier to rocks.
Yeah. Okay.
If this was a Sotar, I'd be less worried, but it's a Moravia, so it's going to stick a little more to the rocks. So in my mind, I'm like, let's just get him stable. At this point, I'm thinking, let's tie a rope to that boat.
You love ropes, Zach.
I don't love ropes. But dude,
I mean, the other thing I'll say is I bet you could pull it back upstream too.
Oh, interesting.
I like that current just wanted to push that back right tube up to the right. I bet you could pull it up into that eddy behind you. I might try that too.
I mean, it would take a while because
I think it'd pop up. I think
no, but you have to get people upstream, because the only way from this where they're at right now, you can swim through a little bit. I remember there's a little pool there you can swim through. It's flat, or walk up and around. But to get people there physically, and then you lose downstream. Then you lose downstream safety. But I didn't think about pulling. I mean, literally, I was like, let's get this thing off. I don't want to.
Because it looks like it's stuck so high up there, like it doesn't want to get.
Pulling it upstream would have been smart, actually. But I'm like, I do not want him swimming. I just don't want him swimming. That's not. And if you see like by my head to the left, that's a rock backed up by a hole. If he falls out into that, like who knows what's going to happen. I want to keep him out of the water.
Do you think you can run the left side of the main chute there?
I don't think you can get there.
Okay.
There's a lateral. I think you can see there's a lateral. There is kind of a fleshy part there, but there's a lateral blocking it, and like you can't see the marker, like that rock right there. You can't see where you are above it. I did that last week. My run last week was there, but you just can't see where you are.
I think there's still there is that line over there too on the far right, just to the left of that far pour over rock. You can see there's a line through there that has got good current going downstream.
There's a far right line that's pushy, but it's hard to get over there.
I've seen gearboats run that one too at this level. I've seen sometimes I've seen them get kicked up too and almost fall up, but I've also seen them have really nice lines there. Yeah.
So I think they should have pulled them in. And then see the throw bag floating in the eddy.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I don't know if I were him. This is one of those interesting things. If I were stuck there, I might be instead of trying to go, try to get the rope taken. Yeah, try to get that rope taken care of.
But again, it's one of those things where, like in the moment, in the middle of a rapid like this, your mind is not always like being methodical.
I think the one thing to remember is anytime you're stuck and not going downstream, you're stuck and not going downstream, and that's okay, right? You should feel any rush when you're stuck and not going downstream. It should be the opposite. You'd be like, oh, look, how can I take advantage of this time I have? I have extra time. I think that you're always trying to look for is time. So I like when even like that spot there is like maybe there's not enough time, but I might try to even just reach back, grab the throwback, see if I can pull it in really fast while I'm there. Because what's the worst thing happens? I have to let go of it and row again. That's fine. I'm still in the same spot, but maybe I could do something like that.
Also, like, I don't know if he remembered he had throwback attached. You know, when you're in the moment, you're like, he didn't recognize the priority. Like, we know that in theory. We know that when we're sitting in the classroom. We know that when we're here watching it on TV. But in the moment, I don't think he was thinking about the throwback attached. He was like, I'm up against a rock and a cat boat and a rapid I've never run that's really big. I wanted this so bad, Aaron. Oh, I wanted this move so bad. Look how close I was. Look at that.
Not even close.
Just pulled me down.
You got so much weight in the front of that boat, Zach.
Yeah. I messed up my little green wall line last week because I had so much weight in the front of that boat too.
I like when you have weight in the front of the boat like that. It's nice how the boat tracks. It tracks really well.
It tracked me.
But doing stuff like that, like pivoting behind, it makes it much more challenging.
The back's not light either. I have the wind behind me. But I had a really heavy front last week and it tracked me right into the birth canal at Little Green Wall. Wait till you see that. Wait till you see that line. Yeah, so that's that video. Fly fishing film. Let me get out of this video thing. I mean, I gotta tell you, fly fishing filmmaker, I break and lose a lot of cameras. I don't need more expensive cameras. And wait, when NRS sponsors us, we can buy all the expensive cameras we want. But before that,
all right. Well, what's it, Zach? What's this new kick? This is a new kick. You want to get NRS to sponsor us, huh? You're gonna start using all NRS gear, NRS dry suits, NRS. By the way, do you see that NRS now has Gore-Tex dry suits? I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, maybe they can get you and I matching Gore-Tex dry suits that we wear all the time. We'll wear them on the show. We'll wear them the whole time.
Oh, there you go.
With the big NRS on the side. Okay. Let's see. Our last. Okay, one more video to share, then we're done.
Is this a Little Green Wall? Do you run Little Green Wall?
I did. I didn't get that video ready. I literally edited it this morning for the show. I didn't have time. I'll show you. I posted some of it. I posted my Little Green Wall video already. I can show you. Okay, can you see this? Yeah.
Is this your video of how to stuff a throwback?
No, this is the video NRS sent us that you sent me. No, this is no. NRS didn't send it to us. NRS made it, and you sent it to me for the show. This is that video.
This is an older video.
I would title this a technique for stuffing a throw bag, not how to stuff a throw bag. That's my suggestion. I've never seen this, but that's my suggestion. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
It's got good music. Awesome. What's this about?
Yeah, you watching the whole thing? Because he talks about like checking the bag, making sure it's okay.
Wait, so I'll tell you one thing I noticed about NRS bag. That knot right there, that stopper knot.
Yeah.
They just use overhand knots. I mean, in my experience, in my NRS bags I've bought, that should be a figure eight at a minimum. But I'm
going to say something else about those. This actually I just wrote a blog post on throwback, Zach.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I just finished it. Funny.
Did you publish it on your website?
It's brexpeditions.com. Yes, it's published on my website, brexpeditions.com. Thank you. One of the things I talked about this is, people like to clip to the back end of these throwbacks. The bottom, like clip a carabiner into it and then clip it in by that end. Have you ever seen people do that?
Wait, say that again?
So the end of the throwbag that we can see, the circular end we can see of the throwbag.
You mean the hand entrapment at the bottom of the
yes,
throwbag?
the hand entrapment.
Okay, got it. That's
people like to take a carabiner, clip it to that, and clip that to their boat. Okay. One of the problems I've seen over the years is that knot over time will pop through, can pop through the foam, and maybe they won't hear it now. Maybe they've got a tight enough grommet on the bottom, but I've seen it pop through the bottom, and then the rope just starts to float out. Like they'll have it rigged on the outside of the boat, clipped on the back end. I'll see that pop out, and then the bag will start floating away slowly. Is that making sense? You look confused.
You said words. I don't know. The caffeine's not working.
You need some more caffeine.
Maybe somebody else understands what you're talking about. What's your point?
My point is that knot, like the figure eight, is wider and less likely to get pulled through the bottom.
Oh yeah, there is no reason this should be an overhand knot. 100% should be a figure eight. for a number of reasons. Yeah, I mean, I can give you. Yeah, it's like
But so no,
other
that's what
than
I'm
it,
saying.
it's like it takes like half a second longer to tie a figure eight than an overhand. That's the only thing I can think of.
And my point, the problem is when people clip off to the bottom of the bag,
Okay.
right, and
Okay.
that knot pops through. Right?
How often does that pop through? Come on.
I've seen them pop through. Once again, I've seen that too, Zach, multiple times. I think
you've made a lot of claims here today. I'm not sure if I believe.
yeah, I remember I've seen that because someone was at the outside and I remember it's floating away. I'm like, dude,
It's whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of anecdotal evidence today, not backed up by anything. Not like you're not telling us when, you're just saying, I saw this once. You sound like most boaters I know that don't, you should never do this because I saw this once.
No, I'm not saying never. I'm saying though, is that's a problem with this. That's a problem with that knot, is it's not as secure as you think it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Why do we get on this tangent? Can we just move on?
Go ahead.
Do you really check your knot every time do you really do that? Does anybody check
No, I don't. Yep. But I will say I prefer to have that on the bottom, that thing smaller. I don't like it having such a huge handhold. I know it's nice you can hold the whole thing, but you can just hold onto the bag above it and it works just as well.
I don't think it should be. I mean, I don't think you should have safety equipment that's dangerous. And so this is safety equipment that's dangerous.
Okay, here we go. This is the he likes to leave the little.
Ooh. Oh, is this he's recoiling?
He's using loose coils to throw, yeah.
Oh. Sure. It's a very neat coils. There you go. Look, he's all good.
Oh no, he's showing how to store it to dry it. Do you take yours out to dry them like this?
No.
Do you just leave them in the bag? Do yours get all nasty and gross?
No. I don't ever dry mine out of the bag unless I don't know. I mean, I'm worried about UV. I worry more about UV damage to the rope than it being wet. And not everybody thinks they're just put it somewhere warm. Okay, so a couple things. First of all, NRS, we love you. Thank you for making these high quality videos. See that thing in his hand he just tightened it up with? That's a loop. That's also violates the clean land principle. That's the second dangerous part. It could just be two ends. It doesn't need to be a loop. And then that thing he's clipping right now.
You could just step it in, right?
Is also that clip he's using is also another hand entrapment. So these throw bags have 3 potential entrapment points on them. But we love you, NRS. Hey, the other question.
I'm going to say, do you do the way he does it, where you clip it through the top of it, or you stick the whole top down inside the throw bag?
I stick it in the throw bag.
Yeah, I do too. I'm a bigger fan of that. And I know they say, oh, it's easier to find the end. And then, are you a knot at the end of your throw bag or a no knotter at the end of your throw bag?
I'm a no knotter. What are you?
I'm a knotter, but I'm going to say the no knotter, I'm more okay. I like that better now that they've got like that shrink wrap on some throw bags. It seems like all the European throw bags have the shrink wrap so you can find the end. Because that's my problem with the no knot. The biggest problem is it's just hard to find. But I like having a knot at the end of it because then I can find the end easily and know where it is. And I feel like I'm much less likely to lose my bag down into the river.
Okay, I'm going to tell you an opinion right now. Can I tell you an opinion?
Yeah. Yes.
And everybody, this is an opinion. I could be wrong. I'm normally wrong. I'm rarely right. This is an opinion that's probably wrong that I'm going to give. It's 100% absolutely best practices to not have a knot at the end.
Why is that?
One, when you leave a knot like that, it's not good for the rope. A permanently tied knot is not good for the rope. 2, that knot could get chalked in something. So when you throw it, like do a rethrow and you have a knot at the end, that can end up getting chalked in something.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And 3, something else. There's some other reason. So I believe you should not have a knot in the end. I think instead of tying a knot in the end, they should do a better knot, a figure 8 on the inside. But throw bags, this is
so you're saying not to tie a permanent knot there, but it's fine to have 2 other permanent knots on the other end of the bag.
Well, you have to.
So why does it matter if you have one on the other end then too, Zach? You can always change it too. You can move it a little bit.
But nobody does. Because why not have 4 then? Let's do 4 for permanent. Let's do 5 permanent.
No. It's actually useful then. I will say, like,
it's not useful in the end.
Zach,
just tie the knot. You can tie a figure in a bite in a heartbeat.
Hold on, Zach. Do you think?
Hey, Aaron. By the way, this is an opinion. I preface this.
I know.
This is an opinion, and I'm probably wrong.
I'm asking you a question.
Okay.
Do you think you are more likely to lose the whole bag into the river with or without a knot on the loose end of the rope.
Without.
Okay.
So you're saying there's advantage to your knot.
Yeah. And would you say, for me, my biggest concern is that throw bag floating downstream and getting stuck someplace. That's like my biggest.
Yeah. The other thing you could do is just be careful.
Yeah, but I've seen enough people. I think having the knot in is easier. It makes it easier to manage the end of the rope, and it's not going to slide through. And you're like, oh crud, I'm at the end because you're like letting out a little slack.
You're stuck in 1997. That was what we did in 1997. It's the new era. Don't put a knot in the end. Again, just an opinion. Don't get mad at me, everybody.
Yeah, but you're not giving any good evidence to back it.
I am. You're putting a chalk in the end of your rope and a permanent knot. When you need a knot, just tie a knot. You don't always need a knot. Or what if I wanted, like in the example of the boat stuck in our thing, if I had done a 2-to-1, like I wish I had done, the end of the rope could go through the pulley or whatever. So I firmly believe you should not have a knot in the end. I do agree with you. The one big advantage of having the knot is you can easily find the end. Yeah. Or NRS could just color the end of the rope.
No, you can find the end and you're less likely to lose the bag. When you throw the bag and you're like,
slightly.
You throw it.
No, just be careful. Come on, just be careful.
Zach, how often have we found throw bags in the river?
How do you know it's because there wasn't a knot? Maybe it was for some other reason. Again, anecdotal evidence, Aaron.
I'm just saying the throw bags end up in the river and they're scary. And I think that's
because there's no knot at the end.
So I'm actually of the perspective is I think you should knot the end of it.
Okay, we can agree to disagree. I preface this with this is an opinion. I'm probably wrong. Yeah. But with that preference, I am right. And you should generally not have a knot at the end of a throw bag. Maybe if you have some silly reasons to do it.
We can both agree though that you should put the knot at the end of the throw bag totally into the bag if you do have one.
Into the bag, 100%, because then rope will just come out.
Well, yeah, exactly. And you don't need it that much. It doesn't help that much, right? Like with the little thing he does here, where he clips it where you can see it. Just stuff it all the way in.
He leaves the end out and clips it in.
Yeah.
That's not very bright.
That doesn't. You don't need to do
NRS,
that.
we love you. We want to be sponsored by you. Oh well, I mean, this isn't bad because the knot is in the bag, but the loop is out.
And it's better, but I still think you might as well just stuff the whole thing in.
You might as well just stuff the whole thing in. Yeah.
Because I have seen when that loosens up and then the knot pops out and it starts to go out. If the whole thing's in, it's just less likely to come out. So, Zach, have you ever taken the end when you pull those little tabs down to tighten it? I'll take the end, the loose end, and I'll stuff it in the little hole, and then I'll put the little cinch over the top of it so it's all buried away.
What are you talking about? Why don't you just hold on? I have an NRS throw back here somewhere. No, I don't. It's somewhere else. You just cut the end and do figure eights at the end and have two separate lines.
Yeah, you can do that, but it still flings around. So I just stuff it away down there and it's out of the way. I'm just saying you can do that anyways.
Yeah. So, or just buy a better throw bag. Like I think this technology is stuck in
what throw bags are better than this throw bag right now that we can purchase here in the US easily?
Salamander bags are really good.
You think the salamander bags are good? Do you think the salamander hip bag is better than the NRS hip bag?
Yeah. Oh, the Coquetet Huck.
The Coquetet Huck is a good bag. I think that's a good bag. Yeah.
I've been digging this bag. I really like it. It's not perfect, but it's really good, right? There's just you can't get your can you see it? Is it up right now?
Yeah, totally. I like the Huck. The Huck, the Huck is good. There. And the Huck, you know what? The Huck is cheaper than the compact NRS. Or the Huck, excuse me, the Huck has got like the Spectra line and it's cheaper. It's like $5 cheaper than the NRS compact. Those are both compact, and I think the Huck the Huck's a better bag.
See how it doesn't have the loop, it has the two ends.
Yeah, right.
I've had a friend of this little plastic thing break off before, so they're not perfect. But man, this thing throws really well. I really like this throw bag. And it has a waist belt option. You can get a waist belt option.
Have you tried to use that waist belt? It seems like you have to undo the waist belt to take it off to throw it. So the waist belt isn't still attached to you, right? Like the way that waist belt works.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's weird. It's a little bit different. It's not as you can't buy these ones in the US, can you? The WW.
Nobody sells them. I might order. I mean, I had this idea, Aaron, where I start a new like online store and sell good stuff. Or I just order like 100 of these and have them on stock to sell to people.
Because I think those are really nice. I think that's the preferred. But right now in the US, I think the best hip belt is the NRS one. Because the salamander, when you got to
What?
throw the belt with it.
Well, no, the Huck. Oh, you mean for a waist belt? The
Yeah,
best
the waist
waist
belt.
belt.
The best waist belt, I think, is the NRS one.
Because it comes off the waist. Is it really?
Yeah, the NRS one seems like the best. Unfortunately, like
No, that's
like,
good because no, I want it. I just never seen this one. So it comes this one right here.
Yeah, the yellow. I go with the yellow one because it's got the stronger rope. You know me.
But it's the same thing. You unzip it and you have
Yeah. You pull
it's
it
some
out.
back order till July. You guys can get these in July. But Aaron, so again, NRS, you guys make great products. We're promoting one of your products right now. People should think about buying this, and we would love to have you sponsor the show. How's that, Aaron? But let's go back to.
Well, I already own one of those, so I don't need any more of those. Let's go back to our comments too.
Okay, hold on, but I want to go back. I think if somebody wants a really good bag, I just got this, the 15, which is not that long. No, I got the 18. I got this 18. It's not that big. It's nice to carry, 18-meter one. And that's the one I was using on the Illinois. And man, it throws so nice and it packs nice. And there's a carabiner. It's just so many cool things about this bag. I'm super stoked on
So
this.
with that one, when you come home, do you dry it out?
No.
Or do you just leave it in there? Because it's going to get gnarly. It's going to get so nasty. Look at that. Like inside that plastic container.
I think that's a made up thing. I think that people, I think people wanting mesh on their bags so their bags dry is just made up. Just put it in your house.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying I think you take it out.
No, it's fine. I've never taken it out. It's fine. I think it's ridiculous. I think you're stuck in 1997. But
Zach, do you think synthetic ropes will rot?
Do I think synthetic? I don't think it'll rot. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. But this is sweet because it has a little tiny thing to attach to, and the carabiner goes in a padded pouch. It's all like Velcroed away. It's just a nice case. But to buy these, you have to contact Europe. The Gaspar is in Europe, and it's a lot of work. And they have to pay. You have to go through customs and all the things. But I mean, if you want the best, that's what you got.
Yeah.
Should we get to comments?
Yeah, totally.
All right, where are we at? Let's see. All right. What are our top bucket list flows to still do?
Well, Dolan's all on this stuff here. Yeah.
Dolan on the river, man. We love you. Thanks for all the great comments and good thinking.
My bucket list. Whoa, man. Actually,
I'll do mine while you sit here and think.
I've just started working on mine. I've got it someplace. I have to look it up.
Oh, you actually have a list?
Yeah, I started working on one actually because I'm stuck here, and I was like, what rivers do I want to do?
Okay, mine are. I have some international trips I want to do still, but nothing like crazy. But here in Oregon, I want to do the Minam. I want to do the North Fork of the John Day and North Fork of the Crooked. And those are all just multi-day class 4 trips that only happen in the spring.
How long are those trips, Zach?
The Minam's 4 or 5 days. The Crooked you can do. North Fork Crooked you do a couple days, I think. And North Fork John Day 3 or 4 days.
Man, that sounds brutal. In Oregon, you just sleep in your dry suit and just live in your dry suit the whole time?
I'd bring a sleeping bag.
It's just gonna be wet and rainy.
No, in the spring it's like, well, it's raining today, but I see some blue sky. It's not always raining. I'm gonna go when it's warm. It's not always raining here. I mean, last year it didn't rain after March. It was crazy.
Yeah. What international ones do you want to do, Zach?
I mean, I'd love to do the Karnali.
Where's the Karnali? I'm not from. Where's the Karnali?
Nepal. I'd like to go. There's a couple trips in Bhutan I want to do that I haven't done yet. But I want to go do more IRF courses and go to Japan and I want to see how other people guide to the places. So I really want to go to Japan. I want to go back to Bosnia. I want to go to Iceland and see where Mark works in the summers. So there's a bunch of, but there's no in terms of a trip just to go boating. Most of it's here in Oregon now. Headwaters the Kern. You mentioned that to me the other day on the phone. Headwaters the Kern in California would be really cool. Actually, after we talked about that, somebody else brought it up to me.
Really?
What are yours, Aaron?
Well, that's my first, Headwaters of the Kern. I'd love to do that. And I think we talked about this. Do the upper stretches of the Wahi. Go start up way up on Deep Creek. One of those, and do 200 miles down there. I think that would be incredible just to go do a 2-3 week trip out there would be. So let me think. Yeah, have you heard of the Nahini River in Canada?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to go check out the Nahini. That looks neat. There's like some different cool options there on that. And then would like to get up to the Brooks Range, I'd say, and do. I'm not too particular what, maybe the Hula Hula, but yeah, go do a river up there, and then the Escalante, of course. I'd love to
Yeah,
float
that's
the
on my list.
Escalante.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's on my list
yeah,
too.
the Escalante. And I'd like to do the Zion Narrows if possible at some point. I think that would be fun to float down through there.
You know, I've backpacked it a couple times.
Yeah.
And it's cool. I remember the second time I was with Jeremy Asman, and we were looking at it from a kayaking perspective. I remember thinking like this would be kind of crazy with water. But I heard that the private property landowner at the top doesn't let people go through his property anymore.
Oh,
and
really?
You can't go top to bottom anymore. You have to go bottom up. So that might have shut down the Zion Narrows.
That's a bummer. So I think that's kind of all the ones that I can think of that I'd like to do. Yeah.
Well, if you move to Oregon, we got to go do those 3 that I want to do.
That sounds fantastic. Yeah, I didn't know you could do 4-day trips in Oregon like that. That's neat. That there's the random class 4 ones like that. I think he's thinking.
This is the going back to Greenwall. Yeah. I agree. It's. I think. Yeah. I mean, I think we just your brain is not always thinking about everything. You miss things.
Yeah.
But I don't take the whole rope out. Oh, that's interesting. If you use the throw bag for your stern line, you practice throwing a lot. Yes.
Oh, that's a good idea. Actually, that's a great way to practice your throw bag. That is like one of the best reasons I've heard to use a throw bag. Use an old throw bag for your bowline. You just practice throwing your throw bag all the time. Man, think how much better we would be like as a community at rescuing with throw bags if we did that every time we tied our boat off.
10% better. I don't know.
10%. Oh.
I mean, there's still, I mean, there's nothing, Aaron. There's no substitute for throwing to moving things in the water. You can throw it all the trees you want to.
Most people can't even throw it though. They can't even throw it. It's like they don't. I think
you can throw it all the trees you want to, but until you're throwing to a person in the water, that's what we need to practice more of.
Okay, so hey, what was that thud thing you were talking about before?
Oh, it's my new mnemonic for when there's a rescue. T is think about after. Mm-hmm. H is have a leader. U is upstream spotter. D is downstream containment.
Yeah, I like that.
I made it up. Thud. It's my new one.
Yeah, that was I really like that one a lot. Yeah.
I had a dry bag get stuck at them in a knot. I think we're free or even at now. A lawn dart at the end. That's a good idea. Oh.
What do you mean a lawn dart at the end of
the end of the throw bag, I think. That would have throw better. If you have a lawn dart, you can just throw it way fast, way better. Sorry, scary. Why? What?
And it's a good, and that is a good point. The clean line principles would say to not have that knot. It's one less thing. And although I agree, that's a really good point. That's a great point.
Oh, the little knot at the end. Yeah.
I mean, that is a good point. The clean line principle is just sticking with that clean line principle whenever possible, for just the principle's sake itself too. Yeah.
And then entropy shows up to the party. I think we're so far behind on comments. I have no idea.
Yeah, we are way behind. Yeah.
This channel. Oh yes, we made you buy a raft. Okay, next. Now I need a trailer and a truck and a warehouse. You got a lot to buy still. Okay, but we would not have sold you a Saturn 10-foot, but
no, that's a perfect, dude. You're a dirtbag rafter. That is amazing.
River Ensalada. Sweet.
And just borrow like 4 paddles from like when you find paddles on the river when you're working from other companies, just use those.
Wait,
like
so you're saying steel? No, you basically said
I'm not saying
also steel paddles.
No, I'm not saying
because
steel.
The name's on the paddle. Give it back to them.
No, Taylor. He's an outfitter. When you find some paddles like stuck in the rocks on the side of the river, because some people it's like
give it back to them.
Keep those and use those. And then when you find more of them, just give some back. Keep taking the newer ones and give them the older ones. And so you always have 4 good. You're
going to get bad karma. Todd was on the river the other day. There were probably 50 NRS throw bags fouled with their knots on rocks, whipping or loose in the current. Whoa. I wonder how that happened.
What river was this?
Yeah, give us. Hey, Todd, give us some more. Where were you? What was it? One rapid?
Oh, Yeah, these are some amazing comments. This has been a really good comment day.
Thanks so much for all the information, man. That's for you, probably, Aaron.
Thanks, Nick.
Gas bar ships, FedEx. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it says. Yeah,
Shipping is expensive.
they're not cheap. That's why, like, maybe if I might, like, I have enough projects in my life, but I'd love to have a little website where we just find the best stuff in the world and just help people get it. You know.
Well, maybe I think that's if you figure out how to get it, maybe just have instructions. Like if you want this is how you do it. Yeah, maybe not.
Right now, I'm just like call a gas bar. But what if I had 100 of them and people could just like order instead of order from us and we could just ship them? But I don't want to do the big problem with retail is you got to deal with returns. Like somebody gets the throw bag, they take it out twice and return it and want their money back. I'd be frustrated. That would make me mad. Oh yeah. Oh, the salamander river dart. That one.
Yeah. That's a. Have you seen that one? That looks so funny. Have you seen it? It's got like a pointy. It's like a little squid.
Googling it. That one's kind of like a lawn dart.
Yeah.
Share screen. Yeah, I've never been a fan of this one for some reason, but I do kind of like it. 70 feet. Oh, you can choose the cool thing about salamanders. You can choose the rope you want and the length. And yeah, this is pretty cool actually.
Well, how do you attach that to your boat?
There's probably a number of photos. Here we go. Oh, you know what? This probably the downside of this one is it's mainly for swimmers. It's probably not. There's probably not like the thing at the end. This is mainly like, so if you throw the throw bag to somebody on a boat, they have to tie their own knot in the rope. Yeah. All right. Do I have a Discovery Channel? We did. I haven't seen it yet. I'm pretty sure it's going to not be good for our industry, but we'll see. Would the Gear Garage ever do a reality show following on WRC? I mean, yeah, this is basically a reality show, this whole thing. This is, but we're really boring. Our reality show is just Aaron and I arguing, and Gear Garage shows where I just stand around talking.
I mean, this is about as bad as it gets. We're both a little tired today and a little punchy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't keep each other up all night and then like talk things about each other and gets a bunch of stuff stirred up so we get all upset.
This is our own reality show. But I mean, if you followed our guides around, it would be generally pretty boring. Like you'd see us talking about professionalism and how to cook better food and how to be healthy. And
I think that would be the video when Zach's around. When Zach's not around on the trip,
oh,
I think
it'd
be really fun to have the video of the trip Zach's on and then the video when Zach is not on the trip.
No,
maybe they'll have to make one this summer when they have a chance to make the video when Zach's not around. What's happening on this trip?
No, don't urge them to, Aaron. Come on. People go to bed at 7:30. It's super boring. Super boring. You wouldn't want to do a show about us. But I bet there's companies that'd be cool to do shows about.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I think I worry about the perception that the general public has for guiding, because from what I've heard, the Deschutes is not known for its professionalism. And I think there's a lot of us out there guiding a lot of places who care about professionalism and being a really safe, responsible guide who cares about the place. And so I think a lot of people probably don't want to be portrayed in an unprofessional manner. So I think that some guides might be frustrated by this. Some guides are like, yeah, we're cool. But I bet I've heard some guys are not excited about the show.
Yeah, I wonder what it's going to do to the people who are interested in becoming guides.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sure it's not going to help. Oh, God.
My friends watched it. And they said you have to get Discovery Plus, and you can get 3 episodes for free on Discovery Plus, and then you got to pay. And so, because it's behind a paywall, it's not going to do well. Like the world's not going to see it. Like who has Discovery Plus? There we go. AJ says the show is really bad. Yeah. You guys are like a father and son that build motorcycles. Who's the father and who's the son?
That's what I'm wondering about. I think I'm the young one. I am the young one here. You're the old guy. You're getting up there.
Are you older? I thought we were the same age.
No, you're almost 2 years older than me. A little less than 2 years.
Okay. So I'm the father. You're the son. Although most people probably see you as the more responsible one. I mean, go. I mean, the proof is Haldor earlier even saying, "Scary to find myself agreeing with Zach." Like I'm the
Yeah.
young,
Yeah,
irresponsible
you're the
one.
reckless one, or you're just the
That's
reckless old guy. So,
true.
we-
Dirtbag rafter. That's 100% me. If you have a second, can you talk about the pros versus cons of a single oar rower versus an R2 setup? To try oars, but now I'm R2 with wife.
yeah,
I mean, I can tell you the advantage of rowing is you won't get divorced.
yeah. That good. Is that his wife? He says he's running with wife.
I'm R2 with my
Oh, wow.
wife. That's
Ooh,
not
yeah.
gonna. That
Wow,
may not
that's
end well.
impressive.
That may not end well.
I'll say this, Taylor. There's another option. Some people are getting into R1ing, and your little 10 footer, you might be able to R1 it too. So that's another thing you can try out. The little frames are really fun on those little boats. So I'll say that's another incredible way to go. But R2ing is fantastic if you've got a partner who enjoys going with you.
I
Would
mean,
you say, Zach?
sure. I mean, you're not really getting divorced because that's probably really good for you guys. But it's a joke among the industry that there's called divorce boats.
Yeah.
The advantage of R2ing is one, you can run harder whitewater because you're not enough oars everywhere. And two, it's a fun, if you like people, it's a fun way to do teamwork and spend time with somebody, like somebody to chat with and do things with. And it's less stuff. It's just like, you just a boat and paddles and you just go. The downsides of R2ing and the advantage of rowing, let's say the advantage of rowing is you don't need somebody else. Like R2ing, you have to find somebody. Like if your friend bails, your wife bails, you're like, oh, I guess I can't go. So rowing, it's one person, one boat. And so you can just go by yourself. I think rowing's fun. I think it's more fun than R2ing, and it's a better workout. Like you're using your muscles more than just like paddling like this. Rowing is just more physical to me, and it leads to overnight trips better than R2ing does. And not that you can't R2 overnight.
R2ing is really fun for overnight trips.
Oh, sure, if you want to eat dehydrated food, but if you like beer, you're gonna want to row.
No, what do you mean? You can fit your 6-pack of beer easily in your R2 boat. I liked R2 because it's way less work to do.
Six-pack of beer.
Do
You think most people just drink a 6-pack of beer in River Trip, Aaron?
Well, for one night, an overnight, 6-pack each, and
okay,
then some
for
hard
one
alcohol,
night.
you're fine.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. And
anyways,
first of all, I'm not promoting drinking, but I'm just saying you can do overnights in R2s, but go to the put-in of any multi-day and look at how many people have R2s. It's very low.
I'm gonna say, yeah. Okay, I'll say this: the oar boats are way better if you're running a river with a lot of flat water. You want an oar boat because R2 in flat water is not fun. R2 in rapids, super fun. So if it's a run with a lot of rapids, I like R2. If I know there's gonna be a ton of flat water, no. And then you and your wife take turns rowing that way, and you're like, okay, you want to row a little, sure. And then she can just hang out, and you can row. So
or she can row, and you can hang out.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, they're just different. I mean, I think I'm going to say R2ing is generally more difficult whitewater day trips. Rowing is generally a little easier water and overnights. And it's just they're different tools for different jobs.
I'm going to say my best multi-day trips have been R2 overnights.
It's super fun, but that's just you're a unique flower, Aaron.
No, I mean you can just carry the boat into certain places almost if it's small.
Okay,
enough.
my best trips are self-support kayak overnights.
Yeah, and I think that's the same category. I think
or ducky overnights. No,
because I think it's the same.
It's even more minimal.
I agree
because a boat's more stuff. You have this.
Yeah, but Zach, Taylor's a dirtbag. He doesn't have the money to buy another boat. He's got to do it all with that boat. Taylor, you just throw a throw bag in front of the thwart and another throw bag behind the thwart, and away you go.
Yeah, get it. Go backpacker style, and do drink whiskey instead of beer.
But then you can get a cool little frame, and then you can take your raft on the Grand Canyon and row your little raft, and everyone will be blown away. And it'll be really fun.
All right,
so
moving on.
Yeah.
AJ says the show is really bad. AJ works on a dish shoot, so he's into this. Oh, and there's only 3 episodes. Got it. Okay, so maybe it died. Try to do it on the Coiling after they saw it after filming axed it. Yeah,
I bet.
I don't want I wouldn't want somebody else to have creative control over my brand. Like if it was a Northwest Rafting Company show and I'm putting how it's portrayed to the public in somebody else's hands, I wouldn't be too happy about that. Unless I wanted attention, which I do. So I guess that's the thing. There's always been tension with lower D between fly fishing floaters and rubber hatch. I'm not exactly sure what that means. I'm guessing that
The
fishermen
rubber
don't
hat,
like rafters.
the rubber boats. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's true everywhere. I mean, yeah, it's true everywhere. Okay. I got one more video, Aaron, to show because I brought it
Yeah,
up,
let's do it.
and then we'll call this a show. Well, I mean, we'll call this a show in quotes. I mean, this is a naive, entitled way to spend an afternoon. This is my little green wall run, my first trip. I found it. You ready?
Mhm.
This is the GoPro 10 too. The GoPro 10 is such high quality.
Is it that much better than? Wow.
Yeah, because I had the 10 and the 8, and I've watched the video from both, and the 10 is just amazing.
Oh, you're working really hard there, Zach.
Well, it's a boat. That hole right there to the right was pretty big that day.
Yeah, I've seen that get pretty. Yeah.
Okay,
This
so
right here. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
right here, what are you gonna do?
Go right.
But you can't if you go all the way right. You go in that birth canal
Yeah. Why not?
because it's a birth canal. So you're just gonna go right. You're gonna go right on purpose. That's what you do, Aaron.
Well, depends.
Look at that right. You flip over there.
The trip we did together, they were styling it through there. Oh, wow, you made it.
Who's
I don't know. I don't know if I'd try downstream ferry into the eddy behind the rock. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. The next trip
the angle you had, it definitely wanted to surf you back to the right. I think I've done that. I've turned and tried to pull downstream ferry.
I haven't tried that yet.
I've done that.
You mean downstream ferry from here?
Like turn around, yeah. Put your butt
right there.
Have your butt drop over. Boom. Yeah, and then you're going, and then you're pulling, and then your front end slides around and it puts you in a good place to pull to the left. Yeah, that's what I've done before. I've done that. Depending on the flows, maybe it was a little higher because there's that little pocket in there. If you can get in that pocket, you can pop through there pretty nice.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned that. I'm like, it just seems like the timing would be so hard.
It's kind of violent, doing it that way.
The week after I had, you know why I do this is because I'm used to having passengers in the front.
Yeah, you wouldn't pull backwards with passengers.
Yeah. But I had a bunch more weight in the front the following week, and I could not make the pull. It just tracked me over to the right.
Oh, really?
I could not. I took the lower water, took it to the channel on the right. Like I right about here, I was doing this, and it just went right. Just pretty. And when I went,
what do you think about if you started on the far right? Go back up and look at that drop, and tell me what you think about if you just started on the far right side and then went right to left from the top.
That's what I should have done.
Like, you start way over on River Right.
Yeah,
you're coming across. I wonder how that would work for you.
That's what I should have done both times. And I think part of the reason I missed the move on the last week was I started too middle, and I had too much weight in the front. At lower water, let's see if I can get a view on this. At lower water, I'll hit the rocks. Can you see that cursor? Mm-hmm. I'll hit the bow on the rocks to slow momentum and then pull.
Mm.
But
that makes sense. But then
I'll bounce into that.
When you go over the drop, are you going bow first over the drop, sideways, or stern first over the drop? Then this drop right here.
What do you mean?
When the water's lower and you're going down the right side, how do you go off this drop?
Well, there's a rock in the middle, so I go bow first, and then turn it into the rock wall, and hit the rock wall to get my momentum.
Yeah,
and then just pull back across.
Okay. Yeah.
You were with me last time I did it at low water. We did it together.
Yeah. I don't remember that. I remember another rapid farther down.
But man, Greenwall has just been brutal. You're thinking of Sweeney Todd. That's super the nasty one.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of, Sweeney Todd. Yeah. Where you got a little exciting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think this is a really challenging, tricky rapid. It's like I remember Patrick Copel was rowing a gearboat the first time we came down, and he flipped in here, and we went through the birth canal upside down.
Every time I think I kind of have it figured out, it beats me down. And we've been scouting it even. Like this move is tough. It's a tough move. Well, Aaron, we did it.
Hey, this
We
is
were-
fun. I feel like we're getting the groove back. Hey, we had a lot of people tuning in and so many great comments today. You guys, thanks for all the comments. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't done so, please hit that like button. Zach needs to feel good about himself, and he wants how many? We're trying to get to 1,000 people. Zach, what are you trying to get to?
10 million subscribers.
10 million. And where
I
are
want to
you
be
right now?
bigger than Mr. Beast. I'm at
Okay.
7,000. We just passed 7,000 last week. That's a lot. That's a good start to 10 million.
Yeah, 7,000. So anyways, if you haven't hit that like button, please hit the like button. Of course, subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified when Zach puts anything new on Gear Garage. And Zach, are we gonna be around next week?
I think so. Friday.
Yeah.
50-50.
And and I must say, we were lucky to not have any Wind River footage today. So if you guys have any footage or you see any footage on YouTube that you want us to review or discuss, you see anything, send a link to me here, Aaron@riversandoceans.com, and then we can take a look and discuss it next week. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, Zach. Fun show. And we'll talk next week.
And those who won the things, make sure you
They already emailed me. They already emailed me. Yeah,
you're checking your email during the show?
It came up the little red dot, and that was like right afterwards. I was like, I wonder if those guys sent it. I'm like, oh yeah, they sent it already. That was pretty funny. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Checking my email.
Damn, that's multitasking, Aaron. I got one more thing to share with you before I forget. You want to know what it is?